It's 5:30. I haven't heard anything from Mrs. Snyder, so I don't know if she's coming. I don't know if anyone heard anything. We got 8 people here. That's good. As an announcement, we also have 8 people who have turned in their evaluation. 1 person has not. I'm not going to mention that person's name yet, but that person has not turned in their evaluation, so that person is holding up the process. Having said that, I guess I said enough. Turn it over to the Education Committee, Mr. Fiducia.
I didn't have lunch today.
I sent it to me. Unfortunately, in my home. Okay, are we ready to start?
Yep.
All right, I shall open the Education Committee meeting. And to start it off, I will turn it over to Dr. Stucker.
Thank you, Mr. Fedorcha, and actually Mrs. Dada is going to kick it off for us tonight.
So, as many of you know, we subcontract for occupational therapy and speech therapy with a group that was previously Pediatric Therapeutic Services, is now Kelly Group. They contacted me because a speech therapist that we had, I don't know how many years ago, I'm getting old now, so a few years ago, was a senior therapist. She went into a supervisor role and then took some time off with her family and wants to come back. She loved Northern Lehigh and would love to come back to Northern Lehigh. With that being said, we had someone that was not certified yet that was kind of able to possibly, do the position, but they would have had to work under somebody else, which also takes time, mentoring, and all of that. This person can jump right into the position, which leads me to the fact that there would be a decrease in hours. So instead of a 5-day work week, she could do the same job in 4 days, provided she doesn't have to mentor anyone, which she has done previously. This, however, would cost us $2 more an hour, okay? But when you do the math, if my math is right, we'll ask Sherry. If you do the math, with the 7.5 hours decreased in time and the 2 hours that she will, or $2 an hour more, we will still be saving approximately $500 a week. So what I'm asking the board to do is, if we are okay with that, to agree with the addendum, which is for $76.99 or $78.99 an hour, and everyone else will stay the same. So the other speech therapist will not increase. It will just be this senior speech therapist.
And you said you're going to get
So
better bang for your buck.
We're going to
with
still
her.
get better bang for a buck,
Right.
and we're going to save some money.
And even though she's not going to mentor now, she will mentor sometime. And it's good to have somebody, because the other one could not do that.
Right, and she did wonderful things for our early intervention kids too. Before she put interventions into place that actually helped us intervene with speech before they became able to be identified, and a lot of them actually were not identified because she is just like that extra special person that can organize and produce some wonderful interventions.
Well, she's extraordinary. It might be nice to get her because other districts are going to grab her.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't have to worry about having a job,
she'd prefer coming here.
Yeah, she loved Northern Lehigh and Peters Elementary.
It's okay with me.
I think I know who you're talking about.
What about benefit? Does she get any benefit?
She does not, because she's subcontracted.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
that's
thought
why
that was
there's
fine.
still a savings there as well.
When the note says other SLPs will remain at the
Mhm.
dollar, are they with the Kelly Group or are they
Yes.
internal with
No,
us?
they are with the Kelly Group.
Okay,
Yeah, so we don't have any speech therapists on staff. They're all subcontracted.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I will just tell you, I know that speech therapists are one of the hardest
Yeah.
to fill, because when I was on the charter school working with them, we ended up using an online service because we couldn't get anybody.
It's a long educational process for them.
If there's no other questions, any of the board who would oppose this? Seeing none, I'd say we can go ahead with it then.
Thank you very much. I guess Dr. Stoker?
Yep, thank you. Our next topic on the education agenda is EF Tours. This is really just an update. We ran our first international trip to Italy at the end of June, Students and families went from June 17th through June 23rd. We had 64 participants on the trip. They traveled through Philadelphia, through Canada, and into Italy, and then did the reverse coming home. They had a wonderful time. They got to see things in Rome and Perugia. They got to go to the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, Castle Gandolfo, Assisi, Perugia. And they really had a great time. It was very hot over there, but it was a very quick-paced trip, but they got to experience all that Italy had to offer. We ran a very large trip. It was like a bus and almost 2 buses that we ran on this trip. In hindsight, we probably shouldn't have run something so large because now we're having a little bit of a trouble getting grease to fill because we had so many participants going to Italy. However, posting pictures, coming back and talking about the trip, we do have a little bit more interest in Greece, but we're thinking that we might postpone Greece until 2028 because now we have some new students and families that are interested in doing the trip as well, and that just gives them more time to fundraise so that it's not going to be as costly if we do it in a year versus if we, prep for 2 years.
Can we go?
What's that?
Can we go?
I want to thank Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Crucial. They were the trip leads. Because we had 2 buses, we had to have 2 trip leads. They did a wonderful job with running the fundraising, coordinating everything, working with EF. We get assigned a person from EF Tours to be specific to that trip. They worked hand in hand with that person to really get everything off the ground. And then we had several chaperones because, again, of how large the trip was. Mrs. Merkel, Mrs. Binder, Mr. Oland, Mrs. Fristick, Mrs. Beer, Mr. Snyder, and Mrs. DeHart. And they were all wonderful chaperones. They really bonded with all the kids and the families, and everybody had a really great time over there. Everyone came back safely, so that's of the utmost importance. So we're very excited to run our Greece trip in probably June of 2028. So I just wanted to give you some information on that, and the board was able to see the pictures that they came back with. I'm just sharing 2. This is them getting on the bus after we did our bag checks and everything and them leaving. And then there's a picture of them once they were in Italy kind of sitting on the stairs together. And you should have access, if you click into the Google Drive, the board members have access to that full drive of pictures.
Anything special that that the kids said or something that was like unique or was there anything, you know what I'm saying, like?
Yeah, I mean, I think they really enjoyed it. They were all looking forward to the food and stuff like that. They really wanted to go to the Coliseum. They didn't think there was enough time at the Coliseum because things were just moving very quickly. There was a pool there and it was really hot, so they all actually had like their own little pool party. They really enjoyed that. They're not used to the portion size in Italy, so they were hungry and they were like, we need to keep ordering more food. So they're ordering a lot more food than expected in the evenings and stuff too. But yeah, it was just kind of get off the bus and just keep going. So we're looking forward to the next trip as well.
And Dr. Stoker, if I may, again, I would just like to publicly thank all the family members and friends that supported the students' fundraising so they can go on this trip, as well as the Northern Lehigh Educational Foundation. Through their generosity, they paid for the cost of one of the charter buses down and back, so that was also a huge help in the fundraising efforts.
Where's the next trip?
We're going to postpone it to Greece in 2028. So we're running them typically at the end of June. Okay. All right, the next one is our medical assistant program update. I did share this out with the board, but back in March, at the education committee meeting, we shared the information regarding the LTRIC's medical assistant certificate program. It's fully funded opportunity through the dual credit innovation grant, and it's designed to prepare students for entry-level employment in healthcare settings. So while they're earning college credits and an industry-recognized credential during their senior year. After their senior year, they continue with that and they can go right into a medical profession. So I'm just pleased to report that we do have 8 students at the high school that were accepted into the program and have enrolled in the program. So 4 will be participating in the morning labs, 4 of them will be participating in the afternoon labs. I believe all of them are females. And students will complete their coursework through 26-27 school year, participate in the clinical experience, and then following the graduation summer 2027. So they actually do some work during the summer after graduation as well. So again, this opportunity provides a direct pathway into healthcare, and it's no cost to families, and I'm really excited that we have 8 students our first year taking that opportunity. So hopefully that grant continues, but we're excited to see, what the students think of that program. Any questions on that? All right. The next one is a quick update on federal title programs, specifically Title I. This is the time of year that we write the federal programs grants, Title I grant. And for 26-27, that's when we are actually scheduled to be monitored again. We were scheduled to be monitored last year, but they changed the monitoring system, and now we're scheduled to be monitored in 26-27. It's a cyclical monitoring, so it comes up on a cycle, but that cycle keeps changing. So we're expecting to be monitored in 26-27, so more to come on that. But I'm going to share through Mr. Schneiderite at Peters and Mr. Briner at Slatington. They're just going to talk quickly what their goals are for Title I for this year. So I'll turn things over to Mr. Schneiderite.
Thank you, Dr. Stoker. Again, so every year we analyze data over the summer, and then based on that, create a goal that will represent our school-wide goals. So mine is related to second grade this year. What we're looking to do is really target those students. If you remember, there's basically 4 categories. Well below benchmark, above, at benchmark, and above benchmark. So I'm really looking to do is target those well below benchmark students to see if we can make some really true gains there. So the goal is that we're reducing the number of students in that category by 25% from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And Mr. Briner?
Okay. As Mr. Schneiderite said, every summer we get to write the Title I plan, dive into some data. Some of the data that we collect is not just quantitative in nature, it's qualitative as well in terms of feedback from parents that we receive from our survey at the end of the year. So at Slatington, our focus heavily this year is going to be on the implementation of the new math program. And that is consistent with some of the feedback that we've been receiving in terms of, over the past couple of years, feedback with concerns with math in general. So our focus, we actually have 2 goals. One goal is going to be related to math, looking at the IXL snapshot and growing the 4th grade cohort on average 100 points. So everybody in the 4th grade cohort, growing them 100 points from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So looking at that overall average for the cohort. And then in reading, we are going to be also targeting 4th grade, a very similar goal, almost written identical to the math goal, growing them 100 points in IXL, but that's directly related to something that we saw with 4th grade ELA that we're diving deeper into, which I'll share more at our presentation next week. So,
Any questions on federal programs update or the Title I programs for our elementary schools?
I just have a question for Mr. Schreyright. You said your goal was to move 25% of the students out of the lowest group. Is that correct?
Correct, but when we look at the percentages at the end, I tried to work it a little differently this year because typically you're working with a strict percentage, right? It's not taking 25% to 0% of students. The idea is based on the amount of students, we're going to reduce the amount of students by 25% from the beginning to the end of the year.
Right, I understand that, yeah. I was just wondering, do you have a goal for all those other students that are there to raise their scores somehow? I mean,
Sure.
Is that your only goal, the 25% out
So
of the
when we
lowest
do
group?
this, Mr. Weber, we pick a goal.
Okay.
It's not like it's our only goal in the building. It's not like we're foregoing every other academic thing just to meet that goal. But some of the things I'm looking at targeting related to that. is not just related to academics. As Mr. Briner said, there's a lot of qualitative things that come other than just changing the way we do reading intervention or something like that. So I'm looking at sort of enacting our SAP program in a little different way within the building to be a little more proactive with that rather than reactive, to give students the needed support that might need the support when they're struggling and falling behind. Looking about being a little more proactive with our social worker in some ways to aid in families. So there are lots of things that go around that goal, but I think the benefits are K through 2, but when we report it to Title I, it's basically, this is our goal related to the specific data point.
Okay.
And I'll just share that the goals for Title I, II, III, and IV have to be how we're spending the money. So our Title I funds are actually spent for the salaries and benefits of 3 of our interventionists in Peters and 3 in Slatington. So it has to be tied to that. So specific to that grant program.
Achievable goal.
Yeah, that's why it's that
Okay.
goal.
All right.
But certainly the buildings have more goals than that.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks, Mr. Webb. Anything else?
All right. KinderQuest, Mr. Schneiderite.
All right. New tab. Thank you, everybody. Very short and sweet for me tonight because the program has not yet happened, but it's tomorrow. So I just wanted to let the board know this will be the 3rd year in a row we're running this program with the intention of easing the transition for our incoming kindergartners and their families into kindergarten. So the program is the next 3 days, August 4th through 6th. We have, as of this morning, 56 students signed up for the program. It's less than previous years, but it's actually pretty close to the typical percentages we see in relation to the actual students who've enrolled within kindergarten at that time. We have 3 teachers working it, Mrs. George, Mrs. McShane, and Mrs. Ciesco as our kindergarten team. Mrs. Bile is working the program as our special ed teacher. Ms. Ledestri is our school counselor. And we've got some great support staff, Ms. Krasenix, Mrs. Schrammel, and Ms. White as paraeducators, and Rebecca Brogan, our school nurse. So we're excited for the program, and I do anticipate that for the September meeting, I'll have some sort of data and some pictures and talk through what actually occurred at the program. But we're really excited about it over the next 3 days. Okay. So that was it for me.
How many students are enrolled as kindergartners? Did that enrollment go up, or are we still?
We're still hovering around the same thing. We're nowhere near where we normally are. And Mrs. Farber continues to have appointments. Sometimes she has them and they don't show up, and she keeps following up with them. But we're starting to see a little bit more movement. There was probably a month where we had nobody making any moves, but now that it's coming closer to the end of, now that we're in August, people are starting to enroll more. So we've gotten a couple new students.
So it's about 87, 90?
I can pull
was
it up directly.
Because if it's, that's pretty good. If it's 56 out of
Yeah.
80 or 90 kids, that's still a lot of students. Yeah.
I think I checked this
Yeah.
morning, and the most recent data, I believe, was fully enrolled through the entire process was 78. And I believe, I want to say maybe 84 altogether, including those 78 that still have to complete registration. So that's great for KinderQuest as a percentage, but overall, to put it in perspective, we just graduated 135 seniors, and we're only, as of now, we don't yet have 80 kindergarten children enrolled.
Yeah, this is the portal. The first number is how many are in the portal. This is the number of how many are fully registered.
Ms. Krasenix is back there. She's working our program tomorrow. I didn't know. Got official board recognition. So any other questions about KinderQuest? All right, thanks everybody.
All right, thank you. Mr. Williams is going to talk about FCS and art.
As I know you guys are aware, at the secondary level, there are a few staff members that we share between buildings. And every year when we go through the scheduling process, we work together to see how courses load. We see what the numbers look like, and then that's going to determine how those staff are shared. And this year, when we were taking a look at how courses loaded, we actually had an opportunity based on the numbers that we're filling in the high school to have Mrs. Frank, our teacher that goes back and forth, fully be at the middle school this year. And so we were really excited about that. And that was just based on the number of students who chose particular electives at the high school level. And so this opened up an opportunity for us to be able to offer a course that I know Mrs. Frank had been looking at and we're very interested in at the middle school, which basically takes a look at applying what she does from an art perspective to more of a STEAM perspective. So this would require an update to our curriculum guide at the middle school. You can see the description of what the course would be. The name would be Innovation Studio 7. It will be offered to our 7th grade students. And this also is in conjunction with us being able to manipulate scheduling to lower the numbers in our special area courses. So again, having Mrs. Frank there and offering this course is going to allow us to be able to manage those numbers a little bit better as well. You can see the description there. So it's a course that is designed to help students explore the ways visual arts intersect and influence their daily lives and future endeavors. It emphasizes collaboration, creative problem solving, and the application of design thinking through authentic hands-on projects. Students will experience creativity as a tool for communication, innovation, community engagement, and they will develop competencies such as teamwork, critical thinking, communication, and adaptability. So really the idea is taking what she does with her art classes and then turning that into a way in which she can go cross-curriculum. So problem-solving projects, being able to apply that to real-life situations more along the lines of STEAM. So really excited about this. We wanted to present that here for Education Committee tonight, and also that addition to the middle school curriculum guide.
Is there any software that she's gonna need for that group?
No, not right now. So there are items, so this was something that she was looking at, she was hoping to be able to do a few years ago. We actually do have equipment that, in fact, some of it she won in a grant. She got in a grant years ago that she's going to look to apply. But in reality, she's already got a list of projects that she's looking to do and been wanting to do that aren't going to require anything beyond what she has. There's some things that she came to me that we were able to work out and make sure that she could get through our budget, and that was fine. But no particular software or anything like that that she would need.
Sounds good.
Okay, and then just as Mr. Williams said, we'll probably be bringing back our middle school curriculum guide just for this change for the board meeting. So you'll see that on the board agenda for Monday night if everybody's okay with that. Okay. That's all that we have on the Education Committee agenda, Mr. Fedorcha.
Any questions from anybody? Seeing none, I will adjourn that meeting and turn it over to the policy. Mrs. Huzak.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and open up policy and turn it over to Dr. Stoker.
Yes, thank you. So we have a couple items on the policy committee agenda this evening. One of the biggest things that we've been doing over the summer is transitioning to our new platform. So what we used to use previously, board docs, PSBA has moved away from board docs. So we had some options of what direction we wanted to go in. So we did go with their Keystone platform, and it is up and running. I'll give you just a preview of what it looks like now. So when you go through either nlsd.org and you follow through to the school board page and then to the board policies, you'll land on this page. Or if you use the direct link, you can go directly to this. But you're able to click on this. We kind of designed it to look like, branded it with the Northern Lehigh colors, the Northern Lehigh logo, and we can continue to play around with the branding if there's any suggestions as well. If you click into the board policies here with this blue button, you can go ahead and browse them just as you did before. They took everything and migrated it over into this new website for us. So this is fully connected and it looks similar to what it did before. It's just a little bit of a different look to it. Okay. Next on the agenda is in that process, there has not really been a new PNN with new policies coming out because they've really been focusing on making those changes and getting everybody up and running in their districts with policies. And we don't do our agendas, but a lot of districts do their agendas through that component as well. So really just some basic things that are being updated. NLSD policy manual changes includes the section 200s. Used to be called pupils, they're now calling it students. So as I went through and updated what that website looked like, I just changed pupils to students. So it's not a really big change there. But the 200s will now be renamed. Any questions on that one? All right. The next one actually goes back to what we just talked about in the Education Committee, which is our federal programs and our Title I. Mr. Schneiderite and Mr. Brenner do a really nice job of running annually 2 meetings to talk with parents about what we do in Title I, look at the data, talk about our compact that we have, and all of the policies and plans that we need to have. So each building, if they're separate buildings, has to have a family and parent engagement plan. So Slatington does and Peters does, but then we have to have an umbrella policy. So this policy, there's nothing that we're looking to change on here. It's just strictly that we are being monitored this year and we look at this policy annually. So I'm just bringing it to committee so that we can say that we took another look at it based upon the changes and discussion that happened with the plan. We're not recommending any new changes at this level at this time. And there's nothing coming down from PSBA, but we just want to make sure that annually we take a look at this to see if there's anything that we need to do, to better parent and family engagement. Any questions on that? All right. The next one is an AR proposal that we have. So this, typically we don't bring all of our administrative regulations to this committee. We usually bring the policy and then administration works on the ARs that go under those policies or that are recommended through PSBA. This one in particular, we're bringing to this committee because it's a little bit of a change from what we normally do, but we think it's a really good opportunity for students and for families. This essentially, what we're looking to do here is it would be called flexible instructional scheduling for external programs. It's something that's coming out currently out of Slatington, so Mr. Briner's taken the lead on this. It allows us to keep students connected to Northern Lehigh's brick and mortar schools rather than losing them to cyber or other educational options that may cost the district money. So really this also came out of our 26-27 budget and trying to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible while looking at programming and being flexible for students and families. So this allows students to have some flexibility, but it ensures that they continue to meet all of the district curriculum attendance and accountability requirements. The approach benefits both families in the district by maintaining student enrollment and preserving associated funding. Our high school currently has a system for this, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Right now I know I'm kind of talking around it, but Mr. Briner's going to dive into it. So it's similar to what would be like an independent study at the high school, but we're bringing that down to the elementary level in specific situations where we have students that are participating in external programs that would pull them out of school regularly. So I'm going to turn things over at this point to Mr. Briner to talk through what this AR would do.
Thanks, Dr. Stoker. So as Dr. Stoker said, occasionally the district does have families that will reach out and request allowances in terms of attendance for reoccurring training, rehearsals, performances, competitions, that type of thing. These are specifically around high level types of programs. So we're talking about maybe a childhood actor. We're talking about a high-level gymnast. We're talking about motocrosses. Another example that we've had. We've had skiers in the past, and so previously, before this, there hasn't been a process really in terms of how to go about those requests. Looking at them. Identify whether or not there's, this is the student themselves is ready to do something like this, and then ultimately go through an approval process. So without that formal process and without established regulations or requests, there could have been in the past the creation of somewhat, this is handled this way and this is handled that way, and then it's not necessarily documented or monitored in a specific fashion. So this AR basically outlines what that process would be. Okay, in terms of what is a qualifying program, what the process goes for request, then review of that request. A team at each building would look at the specific request, identify, is the student capable of doing this? Is this something that we can support in terms of, an educational plan, and then ultimately develop that plan for approval, and then final approval would then go to the superintendent for final district approval. But essentially, as Dr. Stoker kind of said in the past, without having a process in place for those types of requests, the possibility of that flexibility, essentially the answer has been most times no, we're not doing this. And then as a result, the family needs to make a decision. And so that decision sometimes is, okay, we're going to stop doing what we're doing, or sometimes it is, we're going to find some place that's going to be flexible for us, which might be a cyber charter, it might be cyber school, it might be, a charter school, it just depends upon their situation. So the idea here is not only looking at this by keeping our students in-house, especially when they want to be in-house and they want to be here, but providing a flexible option for them where we can at least look at this in more in depth, again, year to year, because it would change year to year for the specific situation, but look at it year to year and outline a potential program for them, whether that is with it being some in-person instruction and then them maybe leaving midday or leaving an hour early or something to that effect. So the total instructional program might be a combination of the in-person instruction that's in the building, followed by maybe some Bulldog Academy course, maybe one course, or maybe some other flexible option that we might be able to do. But again, prior to this, there really hasn't been a process in place that has formalized looking at this, what needs to be provided from the program in terms of, okay, this is an accredited type of a program that they're involved in, and then ultimately the process for final approval and plan. There's benefits on both sides of this, both for the students and then also for the district. It allows students to remain connected to their home school, which I think really is the biggest thing, not only for them but for us. We want them here. They want to be here. So the only thing that really is in the way of that is being flexible and trying to figure out how can we make that happen. It preserves access to the district curriculum. It maintains in-person instruction whenever possible. The side step is, for the district, it's it's less expensive to maybe provide in-person instruction and one Bulldog course for students than students ended up going to a cyber charter. So there's some cost savings there, but again, I think that's kind of the secondary aspect of it. We want our students here, and ultimately, it's coming out of my district or my building because a family had requested it because they want to be here. They don't want to go anywhere else. But unless we create some type of flexible offering that's in alignment with our policy, they're going to be forced to make a choice, and that's a tough choice to make. So, is there anything else questions-wise that I can answer about what that would look
So
like.
can I just add that we're looking to really pilot this with this family, 2 students. So again, if they were to go to a cyber charter school, that could be potentially $26,000 savings there. And again, we don't think that we need to do several Bulldog classes. We think that we can fit this in to the school day with not having a financial burden on the district. The other thing is, if the student starts to fail, if the student starts to need assistance, there are things that are built into this to be preemptive with that, so we don't have students that are falling behind or failing or anything like that. And you
Sure.
wanna talk about those?
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up. That is also part of the AR, so it kind of mimics what we already do in Bulldog Academy. And so the students will be set up with a mentor kind of in the building. That mentor might be, depending upon the flexible option, what we do with Bulldog Academy if it were to be a Bulldog Academy course. Obviously, they have the in-person instruction, so we have our eyes on them from that lens, from the in-person side. But if there's a flexible instructional arrangement that we can make up, that teacher, whoever they're working with, would also be another set of eyes. So we have quarterly reviews that we would look at as a team to make sure that the students are following through and being successful. And then if not, there's a tiered structure that's set up inside of the AR that, okay, you're not being successful, we're going to pull you back, or we're going to set up a plan where you come back into the building full-time until you are successful, or increase monitoring as we get to that part. So this outlines what the process looks like. It standardizes it. Obviously the schedule itself will be different year to year, but the way we go about looking at it, analyzing it, monitoring it, documenting it will all be the same.
And you're starting it when?
The goal is to start this year.
Okay, so
To
you
pilot
have-
it this year with
you
these
have-
2 students.
You have the students and families in mind that you prepared for?
Yes, it's really just kind of, after having this conversation, I wanted to, after having this conversation at this meeting, the goal would be to then move forward with the family to complete all the paperwork and start the planning process.
It sounds like a really nice program.
This is periodic throughout the school year. It's not constant like the VOTEC is.
No, this is periodic, not even necessarily throughout the school year. It might be,
A
we might
seasonal.
use this AR this year, and maybe this group of students is going to use it, moving through. But I might not see another student that needs this AR for 2 more years. It just provides us the opportunity and the ability to look at things in a more flexible manner, and open up doors rather than keeping them closed.
So the criterias they have to meet, can I just take a look at that a minute?
Like the qualifying programs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up at the top.
Can you just tell me what page?
It's page 1. It's like the second paragraph.
This part?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're talking like, a young prodigy at golf, like a Tiger Woods. We're talking about an Anna Lee Waters who plays pickleball at age 12. We're talking about people who are really at that high level. There's a prima ballerina, there's somebody that's an actor that's traveling all over the place. Those types of situations. We don't foresee that we're gonna see this a lot.
Are sports team members, are they included?
So this would be somebody that would be participating at like a state level or a national level.
Not local?
Typically, if they're part of our sports teams, they're not necessarily going beyond that. They may have like AEU basketball or something like that, and they're participating in different teams. This is really almost for like single individual type experiences.
That also impact and individual experiences that impact and conflict with the school day hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key, really.
So this is just where I'm kind of thinking of some sports that might end up in this situation. Competitive cheer. Sometimes they go to Florida, they go to places, or Ohio. I mean, are you going to have issues where you have parents that have their kids in these competitive sports who may need to leave on a Friday morning and not return till Monday. Will these qualify, or will these be disqualified, or
So-
how will you treat that?
Sure. So when we get to the high school level, like if that's going to be a high school level thing, then we're in a circumstance where we can do independent studies, or depending on how often that needs to happen, we have more flexibility in the high school schedule. To some extent, it's when we have the elementary, middle school schedules
That's
that
kind of where I'm
they're a little
concerned.
more restrictive.
So
Go ahead.
the other thing I would add too is this isn't just like your kind of travel teams or competitive teams that would be like competing on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Like that's not necessarily impacting the educational program, because that can also be covered under an educational field trip, right? So we have another mechanism to accommodate for those types of things.
Okay.
This is more so I'll give you an example specifically to the request. This is two siblings that are training 5 days a week, and their training starts at I think 1:30. Okay, and so I can't meet attendance compliance by dismissing them an hour early every single day.
Right.
It doesn't meet the compliance.
Okay.
It also doesn't meet the compliance with our policy 204. However, if we create a flexible education program for the time that they are missing, that time can also be accounted towards their attendance. And that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Do you have in there about, I liked what you said about how it conflicts with the school daily schedule. Do you have that in there? I really like that, what you just said. I mean, that kind of defines it.
Participation during the traditional
Yeah,
school day.
traditional.
Okay, I'm having trouble
Yeah.
seeing that.
Oh, I could blow it up.
Sorry, old eyes.
How about students that end up with an illness and they're out for a little while?
So we have, again, other mechanisms for that. Like that could be
Okay.
potentially a homebound instruction.
Okay.
There's other mechanisms for those various types of circumstances.
Otherwise, I like the idea.
I think this helps us meet kids where they are, which we're trying to do as much as we possibly can. Any other questions on this? So again, this does not need to go to the board level for approval because it's an AR, but we're just kind of looking for a nod to be able to move forward with this, so Mr. Briner can have a conversation with that family.
Thank you,
I see everybody nodding, so I think we're good to go. All right. And the last one that we have on here this evening is public comment and board meeting, so I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Link.
Thank you, Dr. Stoker. I was asked to put this on here from board members back in June, as well as most recently, Mr. Green asked me to put it on as well. This is to see if we want to make any revisions in the future to the policy for public comment at board meetings, knowing that public comment is defined as an opportunity for the public to comment on board agenda items, not a question and answer session as the policy currently stands. So I don't know, Mr. Green, if you want to say any more about that, or if you want to open it up to conversation.
Well, I had a conversation with Dr. Link about putting this on the agenda, and I've heard comments from the public and also from some board members like, oh, well, we're asking questions and you're not giving us any answers. And it's like, yes and no, because our policy doesn't say it's a question and answer session. Our policy says public comment. For example, someone wants to say, I think that was a wonderful idea that you started a girls wrestling team, congratulations, or that was a stupid idea you had to start a girls wrestling team. But not to get in a conversation about, what do you guys do with all the money you give us? You've raised our taxes 300%, you're just doing it to give yourself big raises, blah, 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 blah. It's hard to have a conversation and answer those types of questions because it can get downhill in a hurry. And I guess I just wanted the board to know this is what our policy says. So if someone stands up at a meeting and asks a question, we're not under any obligation or responsibility to answer that. And I don't know where you cross the line when you say I can answer this question and not that question. So it's public comment, that's what it says, and we've attempted for the last few meetings to treat it that way. And if there's no objection, I would hope we would continue to do it that way. So I'm opening up for discussion. Anybody have any thoughts, ideas?
I have a thought or an idea or whatever it is going to be. I am okay with that at a board meeting. You know, that it is a comment and only a comment, and we don't answer those questions. It's when we have committee meetings. That is, to my understanding, when we are allowed to have the public kind of give some open feedback, and we've been doing that for a while. But then when tensions get a little heated, we end up shifting and moving to the middle school. And then it kind of becomes a board meeting, not a committee meeting. And I feel like the public is getting a little bit upset that that's what continues to happen. I'm speaking that only just from things I've heard. It's kind of how I even don't like it. I feel like we go into this normal committee, you know, month to month to month, and then all of a sudden it's like tensions are hot. We're moving to middle school, and now we're treating it as a board meeting. So that's my thought.
Interesting, I hear what you're saying, yeah.
So is the understanding that at committee meetings, the public can ask a question and have it answered? Is that what you're saying?
That is what I've always understood is how we've been doing it.
The policy really doesn't address, I don't think, the committee meeting in any way different than the public meeting. I hear what you're saying, and it makes some sense to me, but I don't think there's a distinguishing between a committee and the public meeting, that you answer one and not the other. If that's what the board is interested in, I think we can do that. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it. I don't want somebody on the board to come to me after the meeting and say, oh, you blah, 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 you didn't even answer that very simple
Right.
question, and you should have. And it's like, well, our policy doesn't say that, so I'm sorry I didn't answer it, but.
So what, and I'm not being argumentative, I'm just asking this question. What is the avenue for the public to have questions answered then? And you can give me any answer you want, I'm just wondering what that is.
I'm not sure what that is. I think they can make comments. This is a business meeting of the school district. It's not a how the heck are you and a question and answer. And I think, Tim, when you start to drift into that too hard, that's when you get involved in these confrontations.
I'm not saying we're doing it wrong, I'm just saying when the public does have a question, what's our avenue for them to get that question answered?
So traditionally, what happens in Northern Lehigh, and not always lockstep every month for committee meetings over the years, it's they make a comment, and then the board members and administration can take note of that comment and then come back next time and try to unfold it into like a presentation or just like a follow-up type of thing. But during an actual meeting, when a question is presented, to be expected to answer it at that time, oftentimes we need to go look up the information to decide what is the most accurate information to share back. So it's kind of like there's a received a question or comment, there's time, and then you get it back to the requester, oftentimes at a next regularly scheduled monthly meeting. Sometimes it's, you know, if there's an example of, well, who do I talk to about, here's an example that we often get. You know, well, who do we talk to about something happened at the bank level, my payment we had this recently last year, and we didn't have, you know, well, that's, okay, well, we can offer that to you, sir, your individual question, we'll get you in contact with our business administrator. Like those type of responses. It varies, you know, as far as what that exchange actually looks like. I believe that we should stick with the agenda, with the policy. If you want to change it and pull out committees, I would request some time for administration to look into different models from that. I would like to get input from PSBA as well as from our solicitor on how to structure that. If we're gonna, because they're all board meetings, right? Committee meetings are still board meetings. They're just not a meeting where action occurs.
It's not
a voting meeting.
Of the school district.
My concern
But they're all, if I just may, they're all board meetings. So if we're going to try to differentiate between the committee level policy and then a voting meeting of the monthly meeting policy, then I'm requesting that we have some time to look into that and see what that may look like and bring it back to the policy committee. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
That's
you off.
okay. My only concern is there's certain things that can calm tensions very, very quickly. Like when there was the issue at the high school and one of the moms comes in and says, my daughter was told that she will not get an excused absence. And Dr. Stoker said, no, if your child left, you can have it. We asked her to answer that question. That stopped that comment. That never went any further than right there. She answered it. So I think there needs to be a little bit of room that we can answer things that can be very easily stomped down.
And that's my question. I hear you, Crystal, 100%. It's just, I don't know where you draw that line and how you say, oh, that's an easy one, I can answer it, or this one's gonna take us downhill. And I guess I'm just looking, right now it says you don't need to answer, you can say thank you, you can make another comment if you want. But, and I hear what you're saying, and I've heard board members say it, which is why I'm bringing it up, to see if there is a majority of the board wants to change it to a question and answer session. I'm not sure we should do that either. I've been at other board meetings, I've been at other municipal meetings where that's exactly the type of thing where, you know, you bring in the police and pretty soon people are cursing at each other and you can go downhill in a hurry. And that's, I guess, what I'm also trying to avoid. We've never really had much of that in Northern Lehigh, and I would like to keep it that way, I guess, if we possibly can. But
I think as long as we have a way for the public to ask questions and for those questions to be answered in some way and that they know that that's going to happen.
And
I think what we have right now works, but I think it's important for us to communicate that with the public audience that's there, that, hey, if you have a question, we may not answer it now, but we will definitely answer your question in the future.
Right, or maybe questions can be directed to an email, that you can ask it through an email and then they can be addressed or something, you know what I mean?
We do actually have, I guess what I would call a generic
Okay.
email address that came into being during COVID. And it's still active and we still do have emails that come in through that. That's the NLSD for you at nlsd.org email.
I mean, maybe something stating that, like during a meeting, just saying, hey, if you have questions, we'll accept comments, but if you have questions, please direct them here. That way we can have some time to get those answered for you.
I think maybe another possible way to get that out there is, and this is a conversation sorry, Eric, I'm going to float this out there. I'm sorry, Mr. Hill, I'm going to float this out. Maybe we can have a conversation about making that maybe a little bit more prominent on the landing page of the website, that email address. Like a little descriptor, we can kind of work through that a little bit.
And maybe put that at the beginning statement.
could be put on the board agenda along with
Yeah.
the civility and decorum, we
Right.
could make a little statement, I think.
Right.
I think that will
Put
work.
it
I
on the
think that's-
top of every meeting, so when they get that paper, they know.
Right.
We didn't ask for public comment, so you excuse me.
I'm not answering you either. Matt, can I assume then, with the policy itself, is that questions that would come from the public would be addressed to the chair or Dr. Link? Board members should not interact,
Well, the policy's clear on that.
I'm not saying the policy, but I think that's kind of the ethical procedure.
Scary questions if they want to, or Crystal if they want to. They have to address it to the chair as a general, just a general
Yeah, that's what I'm
question,
hoping.
not a
Okay.
specific question
That's what I'm
about
asking.
a person. Can't talk about personnel, obviously, if somebody wants to know, this or that, can't do that, that's off the table.
Right.
and
Not violating
those kinds of things, so.
any laws or...
The other question I have quickly then is the time constraints. And I know I've been blamed, and I was only kidding when I said you couldn't speak, but sometimes people who do not sign up, the policy clearly says you must sign up. And then somebody says, I want to talk. And it's like, well, but you didn't sign up, It's like, okay, go ahead and talk. Should we continue to do that? Or should we be really strict and say, oh, you didn't sign up, sorry about that, And then the 5-minute scenario. Okay, you can speak 5 minutes. Now, does that mean you can speak 5 minutes on any issue and 5 minutes at the end for a total of 10. Supposing we go to the committee meetings, can you speak 5 minutes at each committee meeting and then 5 minutes, if we have 6 committee meetings, can someone talk for 30 minutes? Is that allowed? Or should they be limited to a total of 5 or a total of 10? And I don't think our policy addresses that at all, other than the 5-minute scenario. It doesn't talk about repeat speakers. I think that can also bog down a meeting if you have one person who comes with a particular issue and just keeps bringing it up and starts to say, well, I get 5 more minutes, I get 5 more minutes. I don't think we should allow that. I think there should be a way of curtailing that. We have a scorekeeper here who normally times it, and I think when the 5 minutes is up, the 5 minutes should be up, unless there's a total disagreement that we should do it longer. So, just, again, looking for comments.
May I just clarify what's actually in the policy quickly?
Okay,
It does address much of that. So Dr. Stoker, I don't know if you want to slide, go down to,
It's on the,
under public
it's
comment.
on your agenda, so.
It actually says that the public comment session should be limited to 30 minutes total. We have not been, 30 minutes total. We have not been consistent with that. The second public comment period shall be limited not to 30 minutes. So 30 minutes for agenda items, 30 minutes at the end of the meeting, 5 minutes for each speaker. They cannot cede their time to another individual. No individual may speak more than once on the same topic in either public comment session, unless all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard and there is time remaining within the 30 minutes. All statements should be directed to the presiding officer, the school board president. Mrs. Snyder, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no.
So, happened, yeah.
So, we need consistency, okay? So we can't, this is where I see there's a problem. We're having these committee meetings that are like this, they're open dialogue and things like that. And then when tensions get hot, we go and we move to a different structure. So we do need to have some consistency with following either these guidelines and leaving it to 5 minutes even when it's a committee meeting in this room, because we don't always do that. So I feel like we need to either do it one way and stick to that all around, or because otherwise the public's getting this distrust when we do it this way, and then all of a sudden we're moving it to the middle school and everybody, we have a lot of comments, but if you're going to say 30 minutes is total, that means how many people can get in that 30-minute time frame?
6 people at 5 minutes.
6,
So-
if everybody goes.
But it's-
300 people sitting in there
So
in the
we're-
school because they don't want the,
And a lot of times
campus
we do
thing.
hear the repeat comment.
Yes.
So, I mean, we need to come up with a system that would work to make sure that enough people are heard and we're consistent about it.
Actually,
That's
it's 60.
just the way I see it.
Actually, it's 60 minutes.
So you
You're
could get 12 people.
So you're talking about at the beginning of the session, and we didn't do that. We only did it at the end of the session. We didn't have public comment at the beginning.
We do open it to public comment in the beginning on agenda items, and then at the end, we have public comment too on whatever.
So that is regulated within this policy as well. If you can slide down, Dr. Stoker, to stop there. So kind of gives what the authority of the presiding officer and the solicitor are at these public meetings. And if you look at number 6, if we weren't anticipating that type of scenario, Mrs. Snyder, that you described, the school board president can waive the rules regarding public comment with the approval of the majority of those present and voting. So there is the way that you can do it and still be consistent, even if there is some difference, and that would be at one of those very large meetings where the school board president could say, I'm making a motion to suspend the rules on the length of time for public comment.
We considered doing that for one of the meetings and then decided maybe we better not because
Just
it
hear
would
'em all, right.
be, hear it out, it would be contrary
Yeah.
to policy. And until we have some kind of agreement that says we can and will do that, even though the policy says you can,
Right.
but most people aren't aware of that, and if you just lay that on the table.
Right, I mean, ahead of time, we know pretty much how many public comments we had by our sign-up sheet. So if we have 300 people that want to speak, and we all pretty much know it's going to be on a topic that, you know, is a hot topic, I think then, you know, yes, we could suspend and say, okay, well, we'll allow, I don't know how much time for this many speakers, but that's it, you know, and make that clear to everyone, like in the beginning, you know. Just think we need to have that.
I agree. I think consistency is key, and
What I'm trying to do is get consistency.
you know, I will own some of this, that we have not been consistent over the years on how we do this. But I think that this gives us an opportunity to reflect and say, either we're all in on this policy or we want to rewrite the policy. My recommendation is, I think that this is a well-written policy. I would encourage the committee to want to stay with this policy and give us an opportunity to implement some of these things like we talked about this evening, like being more purposeful with the website where people can get questions answered, as well as if we're anticipating, you know, many guests signed up, and we say, listen, just by doing a quick head count of the people that indicated that they want to speak, we're looking at, you know, 90 minutes. Do we want to suspend the time? And I think that's something when those unique situations come up, I think we can do that without changing this policy.
And there's two ways to do that. You can say, we're gonna suspend the 30 minutes, but we have 50 people signed up, so you only get 3 minutes instead of 5 minutes. You can do that too. Which, you
To
know,
allow more people to speak, yeah.
to give more people opportunity to be heard, because you do have a lot of redundancies when you have people speaking, so.
I agree. I think this policy is fine the way it is. I think, you know, looking at civility and decorum, I think maybe we need to look at that and maybe add some things, like maybe say at the very beginning, this is your chance. If you have not signed up to speak, do it now, because later on, only those people who sign up to speak are going to be allowed to sign up to speak.
If you remember, Tim, when we started the sign-up sheets a couple of years back, I did say that a lot of times. I used to read that whole civility thing, and it's like, this is just wasting so much.
Right, but I mean, maybe below that.
When we know there's a large group of people.
But maybe not read that whole civility and decorum, but maybe below that, just make a statement as the president, you know, before we start, there are sign-up sheets back in the back. They're for you to sign up to speak. If you do not sign up to speak, you do not get a chance to speak.
Do you hear that, you two? You didn't sign up, just toss the swallow. Yeah, but I think also, sometimes, Tim, you see people who want to speak, and I guess I want to be benevolent and give them an opportunity, but then, you know, you cross that line. And
Unless you do that, unless you do it so that they sign up to speak on a certain topic, but then are allowed to speak without signing up at the very end of the meeting. That would be another option.
I think I'm hearing to stay with this policy, implement it with more consistency and fidelity, using the allowances that are in there to change it if we need to during the meeting, and then also to integrate at the top of the agendas as well as on the website, you know, kind of just call out if you have specific questions or unique questions, please send them here, and someone will be back in touch.
My question is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're at this point, we're limiting about six people to speak. Now, if the first 6 are for or against, I don't care which way, and there's, after the 6th, the 7th, 8th, and 9th wanted to speak for it, they never got a chance. I do know in many things I'm involved in a lot. Usually the statement is that there'll be so many for and so many against, and then if that's not filled with the 6, then you could add whatever speaker. But it gives a chance. I'm just saying there could be a chance where a particular thing is very close to me and I want to speak to it in favor of, and yet now I'm the 7th speaker and you're not going to let me speak. So I don't know if there's a way to do that.
It would require a policy change, because that's not how the policy is currently written. If you were to, if the committee wanted to just consider something like that, I would recommend probably going from 5 to 3 minutes because you can get more speakers in. And then at the meeting, if you need to extend the time, extend the time. But that's if the committee wants us to rewrite the policy.
I think you're right, Gary, but, you know, like you say, the sheet is here, you know, it comes in before your meeting.
Can't we just by knowing how many people are signed up, if there are 8 people, can't we say, let's suspend the rules and allow all of them to speak?
I like what
I would
you're
probably
saying.
suspend, so yes, but I would call out the specific rules you
Yes.
want suspended, because you
Right,
don't want to
right,
suspend
like-
all of them.
right.
But, okay, so we're gonna change it, because board president and solicitor have the opportunity to do so, or the authority to do so. We're gonna lower the time per person to 3 minutes and extend the total time
Right.
to 90 or 120 minutes. But I would not just suspend the policy, because
No, I
then
don't
that
think you should
suspends
change the
everything
policy.
else.
Not what I meant, you know, yeah.
The policy gives you the
Right,
opportunity. to
yeah,
do
that's
that.
what I meant.
One of the boards I sit on, if we have a hot topic that we want to have a conversation and want that conversation to go longer, we'll just make a motion to extend this conversation for 15 more minutes. Extend, so then you also put a time limit on it, so it's not going to go on forever and ever.
Right.
The motion would fall under the majority of board is overruling it. It says something on there about the majority of the board can overrule. That would be involving a motion, a second, and a vote, as opposed to just the person who in charge saying, this is what I would like to do. And I think the spokesperson has the ability to do that. I didn't bring it up, but, so right now, if the president or whoever's in charge of the committee says, okay, we're gonna extend it, you can. But if the majority of the board says, we don't want to do that, then you have to have a motion and a second and a 5-person vote to make that happen. That has to go through the parliamentary procedures then, so, okay. I'm comfortable, I appreciate the input, and I promise you I'll try and do better, but we'll see where we go, and I think some of the things suggested should be added to the agenda, website, et cetera, and we can go from there. So I'm gonna say thank you to everyone for your input, and I'm done with public comment, so.
Any other comments for policy this evening? I'll go ahead and close policy and turn it over to Mr. Weber for technology.
Okay, I'd like to open up our technology committee meeting and turn it over to Mr. Hill.
All right, thank you, Mr. Weber. I just have some informational items on the agenda tonight. First thing is some summer IT updates. We did our typical IT collection, check-ins, cleaning of Chromebooks every year. Our staff, that takes a lot of time for our staff. We touch probably close to 2,000 devices every summer. We go through them, collect them, check them in, make sure they're returned. We make sure they have chargers, things like that. So we did that for all the students. And then we also have to, like second grades have to come over here to Slatington Elementary, and then sixth grade up Slatington have to go down to the middle school. So we move those Chromebooks and get them to where they need to be. Then we start, this time of the year, we actually start getting them ready to hand them back out to all the students. So we did that throughout the summer. We kind of do the same process with the staff laptops. We always have resignations, retirees, new employees, so we do the same thing. We get the laptops back, we clean them up, give them a physical cleaning and a digital cleaning, and then we get them back out to the new employees to take their place. We updated the laptops for the video production and tech ed labs down at the high school. We do that every year as well. We prepared 3 new Chromebook carts for Peters Elementary. Just a reminder, I'm sure everybody's aware, we did do away with the one-to-one at the Peters Elementary level. So we do have 3 new Chromebook carts out there. Each cart has 30 Chromebooks in it. They will be shared among kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Mr. Schneiderite already has a system worked out where they're going to be, when, for charging purposes, things like that. And they will be shared at that level from here on out. Another big thing we did this year was our paper cut server update. That's what we use for like our print software. In addition to that, we also had to do copier firmware updates. Like we had to go around all the copiers, and some of them we can remote onto. Some Mr. Hawes had to actually run out to and do, depending on the age of the machines. And we did all those updates. And then we also do some like filler work when we're if we have any spare time, the staff goes out, we clean like filters and interactive projectors. We try to go around and do all that as well. We don't always get to that every year, so we try to do as much as cleaning as we can throughout the year. So that's like a brief overview of summer updates. Anybody have any questions on that topic? All right, the next thing is fiber installation. One of the things in 3 of our buildings, we have legacy, which is a word for old, multi-mode fiber that needs to be replaced. Right now we have multi-mode fiber, and we're looking into doing a switch update possibly next summer. So Mr. Hawes and myself were looking into this. What we found out is a lot of our fiber in our Peters Elementary, middle school, and high school will not work with the new switches that are out because of the speed that they run at and the distance. So what we started doing is we started doing some fiber installation in all the buildings. So we roughed in, meaning when you say roughed in, what that means is we ran the fiber from point A to point B where it needs to go. It does not mean that we did all the terminations yet. That's going to be, we'll probably do that throughout the year. When we have a slow day here or there, we'll do all the terminations. So we did rough in the new single mode fiber. We did that at Peters Elementary. We did it at the middle school, and the high school is almost done. We weren't able to complete one section because of the abatement project that was going on, so we'll get that done shortly. But Slatington Elementary does have newer fiber up here, so we do not have to touch Slatington Elementary. So we are ready to start doing the actual splicing. And from what I understand, one of the board members now, Mrs. Thompson, is doing fiber training, so she's an expert in this now. So maybe she can come over and show us how to give us a hand when we do that kind of work.
You doing the administration building?
Not the Slatington administration building. We're not doing just the Peters.
Just the schools.
Yep, just the schools. Peters middle school and high school. Yep.
This one's already updated.
Yeah, this one's already updated, so we're good here. Yep.
Well, I'm just catching up.
And the next thing I have on the list is just like a little update about E-rate Category 1. I touched on this towards the end of last year, but we did get another funding commitment. So the first thing is we did increase our internet bandwidth from 1 gigabit a second to 10 gigabits per second. That started on July 1st for the new E-rate year. Another thing is our E-rate discount increased to 90% this year. That was up from 80% in prior years. We were 60% maybe around 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to 80%, and now we went up to 90%. I don't know how long it'll stay there. That's based on our school lunch program numbers, so that does fluctuate, but we are at 90% for this year. The first one here we talked about previously, but we have a connection from Northern Lehigh School District to the IU. And the cost for that connection is $14,170.20. E-rate is paying for $12,753.18 of that, so we are only responsible for $1,417.02 of that bill for the year. The other funding commitment letter that we got, this was since the last time we had a meeting. We did get a funding commitment letter for Slatington Elementary to Peters Elementary. And again, that connection is $13,176 per year. E-rate will be funding $11,858.40 of that total amount, and Northern Lehigh School District will only pay $1,317.60 for the year for that connection. So our total E-rate Category 1 funding for this year is the total cost typically would be $27,346.20. But since we're at that 90% discount, E-rate will be paying $24,611.58, and we are only responsible for a total of $2,734.62. So that's a nice, yeah. And
So how does that actually work? When you say we have a line from here to the IU, we don't have our own independent line, do we?
It's a fiber line, yes.
We have our own
Yep,
independent line.
it's a
Who
leased.
ran that?
Penteledata.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a leased line through Penteledata,
Okay.
and that's what that charges is for. That charges for
Okay.
a monthly fee.
All right.
Yep. So that's what that
It's
is.
like renting part of their line.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And then we also have a connection from Slatington Elementary to Peters Elementary. That's the second line. And that's what they call a dark fiber line. That one, we just connect to our own SFPs and we light that up ourselves. So that's what they call a dark fiber. So that's how that works. And the last thing I have on here, speaking of E-rate, the FCC, the E-rate is a federal program run by the FCC. The FCC is currently reviewing the E-rate program. This happens every so many years. What they do is they look at the program and they decide, do they want to continue to fund it? Do they want to cut back on E-rate, things like that? So they are going through the review process right now. So in light of that, the Pennsylvania IUs got together and they sent out a letter, and they asked all the school districts, hey, if you want to have E-rate continue, we suggest that you read this letter. We read it and agreed with it that we would like E-rate to continue. So I did sign the letter, and we did forward those letters to our local representatives to let them know that, hey, we really need this E-rate funding for our technology program, and we do rely on it. As you see, there's a big discount there. We'd be responsible for all that cost if it wasn't for the E-rate program. And to give you an idea, when we do our switch and our wireless projects, those are hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we often don't get the full amount because some areas like the district office, we have to pay for that ourselves. That's not part of E-rate, but a lot of our schools are. So we often we might get a 60-70% discount off of the entire project. And those are multi-$100,000 projects. Like the switch project, probably going to be a $300,000+ project. So that's a lot of money on the table.
Is this federal or?
Federal.
It is.
Yep, it's federal. So we did sign a letter of support, and hopefully the E-rate program will continue.
Do you need the board to pass a motion on that also, supporting it, or not?
They didn't ask for that. They just asked for tech directors and people like that to sign on. If they do come up with something, I'm sure we will bring that forward. And yeah, I'm sure every little bit helps though. But if you do talk to any representatives, keep that in the back of your mind that we would like E-rate to continue because we do rely on it.
How often do they review that program?
It happens I don't know if I don't think there's a set number of years, but I know it's come up in the past a few times since I've been involved in technology. I've heard it come up multiple times in the past, so this is not the first time, but every now and then it does come up and they review the program. So, and it's always in the back of our tech directors always talk about it, like what if E-rate goes away, what are you going to do? That's been something on the table before. Yep. So hopefully that doesn't happen though.
That was my thought, going to the risk. What's the risk if that goes away, and are we prepared for that if that happens?
Hopefully it does not, and hopefully if they would do away with something like that, I would hope they would have some type of a multi-year phase type, where it would phase out over multiple years, not just all at once. Because just in the IU, I believe they have a website up. I believe just in the Carbon Lehigh intermediate unit, I believe school districts since in the last 10 years received over $14 million in funding, just in Carbon and Lehigh counties alone. So it's a substantial amount of money that we rely on for E-rate. So
If that were to occur, unfortunately, we would have to make decisions on what's coming out of the budget then to be able to kind of continue at the level that we are. Mr. Hill, thank you. I know there's a lot more involved in what you just described and what you do, making sure that we're eligible for that. And I would also like to thank Mrs. Fink because it's her numbers through the Food Services Department that the federal government base their subsidy on. And I know between the two of them, they are very tight with how they do all of our reporting. It's accurate, it's timely, and it's to the benefit of our students. So thank you both for your work on this.
Yep, and in December, that's one thing I do. I always sit down with Mrs. Fink in December because that's when I have to update our E-rate numbers in the system. And so I always sit down with Mrs. Fink to make sure all of our numbers are accurate, and we sit down and go over all those numbers. So, yep.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you for all your hard work and your whole department. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'd like to close our technology committee meeting and turn over the next meeting to Mrs. Snyder for the building and grounds.
Okay, I will open up the Building and Grounds Committee meeting and turn it over to Mr. Mann, who's going to give us a lot of updates.
Correct. Thank you, Mrs. Snyder. So if everyone has been reading their Friday updates, I've been trying to keep the board informed as much as possible. We had a lot of projects going on this summer. So real quickly, I can give you a quick update. The Slatington HVAC gym unit, they're waiting on some parts. I was told this week that they're looking for them to arrive this week. So hopefully the install will be next week for that. Then that'll be done. The stadium turf, Mr. Weber said he actually went down and took a look before he came up here.
Yeah, it looks nice. The one end zone I could see from the fence.
So
Looks really good.
The turf is 90% finished. They're waiting for on a couple of strips of carpet to be installed yet, and then the rest of the pellets to be laid in. Right now, they're working on the track, so the overlay is 100% complete. Right now, they're starting to paint lines, lanes, starting lines, starting boxes, that kind of stuff. The rain kind of puts a hinder on it because they need a certain amount of time for stuff to dry. But luckily, today they were able to get some paint down after the rain stopped. Next.
When is the plan for the turf for student athletes to get on that turf for fall?
Next week. So we're supposed to be 100% next week. The following week is for students to actually be able to get on it. That's the plan. Again, weather permitting, but yeah.
So next week to finish the project, and the
Correct.
following week for students on.
Correct. Yep.
So the week of
The
17th.
17th, I think it is. Yeah.
And that's first day of practice.
Yep.
So they won't get it, they won't get on in the summertime. It's actually going to be on in the first day of practice.
Correct. Yep.
So we're a little behind.
Little behind.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
And again, it's with weather and that kind of stuff, it's tough to nail it down to an exact time, but they're pretty close to what they said they were going to be. Stadium lights. If anyone has driven by through the district at night, they're no longer purple.
Thank you.
I know some people liked it, but they're very bright. If you drove through, they're actually a lot brighter than our old lights are, and they're actually more energy efficient than the old LEDs that were installed. So every year they're getting updates, just like your phone. LEDs are getting better and better as you go. So our old lights per fixture used about 8 to 10 watts. These new fixtures are 3 watts per pole. So they're much more energy efficient. Yeah, much more energy efficient. Next, so the abatement at the high school is 100% complete. So all the asbestos mastic at the high school, minus what is contained underneath lockers or cabinets, is out. So any asbestos mastic that can be touched, is the easiest way to explain it, is out of the school. If you can't readily touch it, it's encased in epoxy, which is what they're doing now. So all the epoxy flooring, minus the cafeteria basement, is installed. After this summer, the only thing remaining are the rooms that were already updated with tile, the main hallway and the main lobby. Those areas will still have old tile, but anything with asbestos mastic is 100% complete this summer.
And the grant that you got will take care of that?
Yes. Yes, and then on top of it, actually, while they were still here, they noticed that there was some fixtures in the hallways, in the stairwells at the high school, that the heat shield actually contained asbestos.
Oh.
Yeah, and luckily, back when we first started this job, we hired SS&M, Spot Stevens and McCoy, to be the foreman for the job, being that none of us are asbestos people. They were here and noticed it. So they actually had a globe that was off. He looked at it and said, I think that's asbestos. So he actually shut down the stairwell. They took a sample, they set it out for testing, and it came back that yes, it contains asbestos. So we then had a change order to remove those fixtures, and we have new fixtures that'll go up in its place.
Just to clarify, the grant will cover the work that's being finished this summer.
Correct.
The additional flooring that's not receiving epoxy, the main lobby, the hallway from the main lobby down to the library, a few of the classrooms, is not covered by a grant. So the school board at some point is going to need to make a decision if they want to do that area as well. If we can find alternate funding sources, of course we will, But if not, if you want to get to uniformity throughout the school, we're going to have to budget for that. That's not grant funded. Because there was no mastic under those tiles, so the grant could not be applied to it.
Is the grant available to apply again next year
For,
to finish the work?
no. No. So the grant that we're using for this is an improvement grant, so it only covers lead or asbestos. And unfortunately, I tested it. It was very hopeful. The terracotta in the main hallway at the lobby does not contain asbestos or lead, so we couldn't use the grant to cover that.
So we need other grants.
Or to just pay for it.
Or pay
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Not
There-
pay
yeah.
grants.
You have to remember that he wrote this grant himself, did all the work, turned it in, and got what? I don't know, $18 million? No, that's not much, a couple $1 million.
Yeah, well, we received 970,000 on a $1.2
Okay,
million
that's $1 million
job.
bucks, yeah.
So you can find another one.
You keep writing grants. You
Oh,
just do it
trust me,
anyway.
we are.
I'll tell you, grant writers a good job.
So that was the abatement. The high school chillers are 100% installed and running at this time. So they'll be up and going for the first day of school. The gym floor repairs were made. They sanded the entire gym floor and laid down a clear coat over the top.
Did they have to replace boards there too? Or were they able just to sand it?
Yeah, they were just able to sand the
Because
top,
you
the
had
clear
talked
coat off.
about that at one
Yep.
point.
Yep, they were able to, they sanded down to the top to just before the wood, and then they re-put a clear coat over the top to
Nice.
fill in the cracks. Yep, or the scratches. Yep. So yeah, we benefited that, you know, it was good that they were able to do that, you know, and not have to go too far deep. So the next thing on my agenda, Mr. Snyder, right, if he's still here.
He's
No,
here.
He's there.
He's behind
Can
you.
talk about this too. The Peters wall, the partition wall out at Peters, is failing more than it's not failing. So we went back to Modern Fold, who actually installed this wall at first, along with 2 other contractors that I requested bids from. So Modern Fold was the only one to come back and give us a bid for. Having a wall that is above 20 feet is a specialized contractor. You can get partitions in a classroom and business offices, just about everybody does that. But a motorized wall above 20 feet is a specialized contractor. There's only 3 of them in our area that do it. There was one in Pennsylvania, which is Modern Fold in Reading, one in New Jersey, the other one was in Delaware. Jersey and Delaware didn't even get back to me. Again, probably because of the drive, you know, the likelihood of the drive. The other thing was the company in New Jersey actually uses Modern Fold walls. So that could be the other reason they didn't get back, knowing that we're close to Modern Fold. So the proposal was, as you see up there, $169,580. What they had to do to get the reduction in cost, because we actually budgeted I think, for $180,000, which was the first proposal, was instead of having a 60-40 wall, they went to a full 50-50 wall. So then the walls are going to actually open up the same amount, which will bring us, what did he say, 6 inches, 6 to 10 inches past where it opens up now, which isn't substantial. When the bleachers are out, you're not even going to notice it. But that was what they were able to do then, was reduce the cost. Instead of having a specialized 40% wall, they were able to just split 2 walls in half. So if there's any questions.
So can the wall, I'm not against this at all, but I'm just wondering, what is the condition of the wall now? Is it able to be open and closed now? I know we need to have it closed so that they have gym on one side and cafeteria on the other.
So, knock on wood and you turn the key. That's pretty much where we're at right now. I think maybe at the end of the year, there was 5 times we tried to open the wall. 3 times it worked, 2 times it didn't. We actually brought Modern Fold out to open the wall for his concert at the end of the year, because we wanted to make sure that if my guys went and turned the keys and it didn't run, somebody was there to open the wall for us. So they actually came out and stood there and helped us open the wall. And then I think the wall remained open,
It's open right now.
and we haven't closed it yet.
Haven't touched it since.
Yeah.
I really don't think you have a choice.
Well, you
I
need
mean,
to close
you
it
need
for
to have,
school.
that
Right.
wall has been
Now,
in bad shape for years.
and we
getting
did
worse.
look at alternatives. We looked at a fabric wall instead of going with a solid wall, but the only problem is the sound.
Yeah.
They do have a little bit of sound dampening, but it's nothing compared to an insulated wall.
We also looked at the option of not doing something motorized, because they make them so that, it takes a little longer, but, that we can manually do it, but it only went up to like 20 feet high. This has to be, because of the size of the room, 22 and a half feet high, so it wasn't gonna.
The other only option is cardboard and a staple gun.
Right, yeah. The concern is when you're at that height, there's still only 2 pegs, so you have a 4 or 6 foot wall hanging on 2 pegs, so now if you push it too hard, the top of the wall is gonna tilt, and you're gonna put pressure on one of those pegs, and you're just, over time, it's gonna break. So that's why we couldn't go to a manual wall, which would have been a little cheaper.
To me, it's a safety issue too.
Chris,
Like you said, I mean,
I'm trying to picture the wall. It's been a long time since I was in the Peters thing. Is there any way we could build something that would go from the top down, like those 2 feet that you need, and then have that be, like, put a beam or something in, and then have the shorter wall go
It
on
would
to
be
that?
just as expensive, because you would have to have it engineered and then steel installed. So right now, that wall is on a steel beam. So you could bring it down, but now you're gonna have to hire an engineer to engineer
okay.
how much steel are we gonna need to
I
bring
thought
it down
it was
those 2
more
feet.
than ask.
And then you're gonna have to hire a
Something
welder.
different. Okay.
So, after all that, you're probably close to what this would cost. Yeah.
I don't think you have a choice, do it.
What is the warranty on that?
To tell you the
2
truth,
years.
it might be on
Labor
there.
and material, 2 years.
There you go.
On panels and 10 years on track.
Okay, so 10 years.
It's just, here it is.
And how old is the one we have? I'm just thinking about replacing, how often this will need to be replaced.
20 plus.
I started there
I think
almost
is
30
what-
years ago. It was the same wall,
Okay.
so it's been there a long time.
There you
I'm
go.
just looking at the longevity of this thing, if
That's
this is.
legacy.
That's legacy. Yeah.
I'll swap you, mind you.
Mr. Mann, the proposed funding source?
So it would be a capital reserve. So it would come out of capital reserve. This was something that we had on our capital reserve, but I think in 2 years,
I don't think it was on for this.
was it on for this year? Okay.
Yeah.
It just so happened that,
When it started to die more frequently.
you know what, you're right, we did move it. Yep.
Could we get it done before school?
I can't tell you that. I couldn't tell you if they would be ready to install it before school. I can definitely find out.
That's a close window.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot of time.
Yeah, because we're, next Monday would be an approval, and the following week, school starts already. So, I mean, I don't know if they could get it installed in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So what happens,
Yeah.
what would happen then if they have to do it during school hours? How would we
It wouldn't
work?
go during school hours. We would have to find a day in service or, something
I
like
imagine
that.
they need more than a day to do it though, so.
Yeah, well, and that's, once we're approved, then I can go back and we'll schedule something and find dates that it can be installed.
Weekend.
Well, then that might change the price though, and also after hours may change the cost.
May change it, sure.
So, just
But that's
kinda
something
thinking
I can
about how
negotiate.
this might-
I'll
yeah.
negotiate that.
Christmas
Would the
break or
board be-
winter break.
Agreeable to a do not exceed number. In other words, if we find ourselves where we have to do it on like a Friday in-service day and then Saturday work, if we were to do like a do not exceed $180,000,
What the original.
knowing that we,
Yeah.
our goal is to keep it at this price.
I would be okay with that.
I think we don't go above that 180. I think we originally
Yeah.
decided that was the price we were gonna go with anyway, so the fact that we got that
I mean,
discount.
an
Yeah.
additional
And
10
also
to
look at
cover
Thanksgiving break and
Yeah.
winter break.
Well, it's not ideal, but you could also have the kids eat lunch in the rooms and have gym outside, or,
He's like, yeah, that sounds like fun.
well, it's been done before.
Remember the board, so.
It's been done before.
Well,
I was a part of it.
I see a lot of gym outside at the middle school.
Is the committee comfortable if I put in a do not exceed number and take it to the August board agenda for approval?
Yes.
for
What
consideration?
was the number now, 176?
169.
169, okay.
So you
Say
can
not
an
to exceed
additional
180.
10,000, 180, play with.
That's not gonna do a whole lot, but if they have to
Well,
work
if it's,
weekends, but.
yeah, I think it would cover.
Gives you a little slack anyway.
Okay. I'll negotiate. Okay. Next on my agenda, so with the new baseball and softball field, administration kind of talked about this. We feel that we should have maintenance on that, just like we do our turf. The turf is artificial, baseball, softball is real grass. It needs fertilizer. It should get professional maintenance done once a year. So I went to Hummer, who's a company that specializes in turf fields. Sporting Valley Grass Sod is the company that actually we purchased our sod for softball and baseball from. Hummer is the sister company from that sod company. So they purchase the sod from the sod company. Hummer then comes out and does the maintenance on your fields. So I went to Hummer, got a proposal from them. So to do softball and baseball for the entire year comes out to $12,995. Sounds like a lot until I went back and looked at everything. So whoever has control, if you go up to the so for September, so for the 2210 fertilizer, to just do baseball, baseball has 125,000 square feet. You would need, I thought I wrote this down, and I guess I didn't. It would cost $625 for just the fertilizer itself. So the rest of that is your labor, your machinery to come out. The next one down, the 25010 in March, is pretty much the same thing. Actually, that's a little more expensive. That comes out to about $800 to $900 for just the fertilizer itself. So the fertilizer is probably 2/3 of this cost. The rest of it is labor, the transportation for the people that get here, the machinery.
But can't we aerate the fields ourselves? I mean, I'm looking at fall there. I mean,
We don't have an aerator like this. So our aerator is just a plug aerator. So their aerator, if you can see, it actually has a 5/8 tine. Ours pulls a 3/4. There's actually moves.
Can we rent one?
Might be able to rent one.
I mean, for less than $4,795. I mean, that's
Well,
a
so
lot
now,
of money
so
to
for the
aerate a field.
for the $4,795, you're aerating plus their overseeding.
Yeah. I mean,
Did we notice though when we were putting the field in that there was gonna be expenses that would have to be in the maintenance budget for this?
Some that, I'm gonna say over the last couple months, especially when we were trying to make decisions on how to preserve the longevity of the fields, that we said we may want to look at having professional quotes provided to say, we want to make sure that that's a high-quality playing surface, just like we maintain our track surface, our stadium surface, field turf. So we said, let's go out and explore it and bring it to the committee to see if they would support having a professional company come in to maintain the baseball and softball fields.
So there's more stuff that goes on to like the dirt and all of that stuff. This is just literally the outfield. So there's more to this than just the grass we're talking about. So what is truly the maintenance that you're, like, what are our guys, what can our maintenance guys do, and how are we balancing that? Because this seems, I'll be honest, this seems excessive.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if I can truly sit here and justify $13,000 to say go fertilize those fields. when we have paid maintenance, including summer help and including things that we're doing. And I agree, Mr. Weber, that doing, like, thinking outside the box. How do we do this? Because this doesn't feel right.
So I don't know how long this would take. Who am I gonna pull off of doing summer work? And so, like, one of my maintenance guys every single day is mowing grass. Every single day. I have another guy that just about every single day is push mowing and weed whacking. So there's 2 guys done.
Who maintained
Okay.
the field so before?
We didn't.
Who
So
cut
we
the
drug
grass?
the infield and mowed the grass.
Our team cuts the grass, they
Yes.
drag the infields, they take care of the warning track. So our current crew does the mowing of the grass.
Yep.
And they do that year round when the grass is growing. Additional time during season. This is the next level of care for that field. I agree, $13,000 is an awful lot of money. But we know that is going to be done at a professional level for this type of work here with the fertilization, the aeration throughout all those months that are listed there for both fields.
Don't forget, this cost is going to go up every year. Well, there's no discount, there's no discount if you do the 5-year. You're just
Correct.
guaranteed for 5 years at that
Correct.
price.
Yes.
Because there's no discount if you do 3 or 5 years.
Have we explored other contractors that are more local who would be able to do something like this too, maybe at a
So no other contractor specializes in sports fields. So you can go True Green, who's just a general guy. They're gonna come out, they're gonna do their general spray, and be gone. They're not specialized in sports fields.
But my point goes back to, did we know this when we were putting the field in, what this was gonna cost us?
We did not have quotes at that time, and it's been an ongoing conversation over the last few months about, do we want to take to the Buildings and Grounds Committee an option where we have it professionally done?
I think we need to look at it.
I think we should take a look at some of the golf courses and see if any of them might be interested, because they have the aerators, they have the people that that do seeding and take care of a lot of grass.
I know some people that might be able to gear us to the right direction. If we can wait on this a little bit, I can try to get you some.
It's entirely up to the board, that's why we brought it here.
But I mean, I do think that, and also I'm looking at, this seems to be the grassy areas of
Yep.
this.
It's
Not
just-
so I feel like there could be somebody more local out there that would be able to do this. I mean, it's a sports field, but it's still just grass and sod. And I know that there are people out there that deal with sod and grass and that kind of aeration, fertilization and things. I mean, I have this done in my own lawn, but my sod areas are actually ruined. So I had to replant seed and everything, but maybe because there was no aeration done on those areas. However, I have a few people I might be able to ask about this. So.
Well, in that case, though, I'm going to ask that you respectfully hold on that, put it out for bid.
Sure.
And then that way everybody has equal opportunity.
Yeah.
And we can
Yeah.
absolutely do that. Sure.
No, nobody does that.
So I feel like we have direction now. We will hold on that. Thank you for the conversation. And then
I
we will.
could still go back to the infields. The infields are just as important as the outfields. And the filling the dirts and the purpose of us not allowing certain groups to use it was for the maintaining of things special, something, help me out, Mr. Mann, special, some kind of dirt around the pitching stuff. Anybody else remember this?
Yeah, there was special
Yeah, the
dirt.
clay.
That
Right.
stuff.
Yep.
Does that, I feel that there was no talk about holding the teams off on the grass. It was because of the dirt.
Yep.
And we're putting money to that and not to the other. So can you help me
So
understand
Hubbard
that?
they were also out and looked at our infields, and our infields are okay right now. There's nothing needed at the infields, okay? So just the dirt section, our infields are okay. The guys have maintained them enough that there's no repairs needed on our infields. The only thing they were concerned about was the grass. And that was because to allow it time to grow and get a lot thicker, and fertilizing is one way to do that. Yep. So I had them out for both, and they were just, their thing was the dirt doesn't need any maintenance on it at this time, but they suggested that with the grass being still new grass, that we should get on to a maintenance program with the grass.
So you said the infield's okay for now?
Yep.
Do we have any idea what kind of costs those are?
I do not at this time.
Can we get them?
I could call him back, I could get a hold of Hummer again, but again, when they came out, he said it doesn't need any maintenance at this time, so he didn't even give me a quote on that.
Is there a way then, I mean, if the old field, hockey field, was there any work done on that this summer just to kind of put grass where the goalies stand? Because they're pretty bad.
Yeah, so they threw down dirt and they threw down seed. We have our own seed that we'll put down, but as far as that, that's pretty much the extent. Yeah. It was rolled just to try and get the humps out over winter. Sometimes they get humps to it. After it rains a good amount, that's a good time to roll it to try and get it flat again. But again, that's pretty much.
When did we put seed down? I'm just curious because there's some pretty big spots, and we're gonna have girls using that field who are learning the sport, and we're worried about putting $13,000 on a brand new complex, and we're not taking care of that field, which is, I'm just trying to understand how we're choosing to do what we're doing. And
a lot of that is by literally hands available and time available. And we have to prioritize all of our where are people going to go every single day to do the outside work. So a lot of it is just how much time that we have with a crew of basically 2 groundskeepers.
Understood. We had some summer help. I'm just trying to understand. I get it. There's plans in place and all of that. I'm just making sure that we're thinking of all properties, I guess, is the ask. Because there's going to be a lot of games played over there in a short period of time, and a week or two is coming up, and
Okay.
Again, when we have the manpower available, we're trying to prioritize everything that's coming up for fall, especially the varsity sports. And we have 2 groundskeepers that are out there every day, and when we can, Mr. Mann will reassign somebody else to one of the 0 turns. A lot of it is literally just cutting the grass.
Yeah, like I said, Mark, the lead grounds guy is cutting grass every day. There's almost 100 acres that he cuts between here and Peters.
How big's the tractor?
0 turn.
Is
Yeah.
it big enough though to cover that? I mean, it seems like a lot of time to be spending cutting grass.
We have multiple 0 turns that 2 of them are on.
Get a bigger mower.
He comes to my yard and watch him cut the grass.
I know grass grows, you cut it and then it grows, a week later you cut it again. I'm just trying to understand how it's constant grass cutting.
They were out there this morning.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, even with the wet grass,
with
there's
the
not
wet,
much time to, they can't cut it this week and give next week off.
It's time to pave everything.
So, Mr. Mann,
Just turf everything.
so just so I can understand, you had 2 groundskeepers. Who else do you have under you?
So we have 4. So we have 6 guys total.
Okay.
So we have 2 of them that are groundskeepers.
Uh-huh.
Then we have our electrician.
Uh-huh.
Then we have Matt Stevens, who's the HVAC tech.
Uh-huh.
And then we have 2 general guys. They're not assigned to grass keeping or they're more general maintenance. So they'll help fix whatever Mark or Rob or Matt or Rob need help with.
Okay.
Are those 2 typically
Night shift section.
And then we have 1 that is our warehouse dedicated to the warehouse.
Warehouse, yeah, so there's 7 of them total
Okay,
maintenance.
yeah. I wasn't
You have
thinking
the
Alex because
warehouse.
Alex really.
Correct.
Alex just does warehouse.
And then how many students you have this summer?
So we had 8 students this summer.
So you have one person, all they do is electric,
Yep.
and they keep busy?
Well, so he
with
does other stuff too, but his primary role is electric.
that? Okay. And you have one guy that's just HVAC.
Yep.
He's
And
not
plumbing.
just HVAC.
Okay, well, what else does he do?
Well, the other stuff.
Okay.
But that's his primary role. His
Okay.
primary role is HVAC and plumbing.
I'm not trying to be condescending, I'm just trying to clarify.
Well, I just want to make sure that, those two that are highly skilled and licensed to be an electrician or an HVAC technician also do other things.
Sure.
But those other things are typically within the buildings.
Okay.
They're not riding lawn tractors and stuff like that. In the winter, they'll hop on a truck to do snow plowing.
Have we explored the cost to have a grass cutting service?
No.
Like,
I haven't, no.
I mean, maybe more cost effective. I don't know. I'm just trying to think out of the box a little.
Wouldn't think so. But I mean, it's something that, again, we could look into. Sure. But again, this summer was a unique summer because of the amount of projects that were going on with the scoreboard and running electricity for that. I had 3 guys pretty much every day working on that stuff. They pretty much couldn't leave unless it was raining. Then they would do inside work. The students that we hired, they primarily did painting all summer long. And again, that's usually what we kind of use those summer kids for. I'd rather spend, give 8 kids a paintbrush and teach them how to paint than to have a maintenance guy who could be fixing something else, painting a wall.
Unless I'm doing something wrong, you're looking at 13,000, that sounds like a lot of money, but we spend like millions to put those fields in. So when I'm looking at the annual cost of this, it's like 0.0065% to maintain that $2 million project. Now, if I want to go through the school district and find other things that need doing, I can come up with millions of dollars worth of projects. We just spent money on this. I don't want to see this fall apart in 5 years either, and then we have to go back and build 2 more fields for $2 more million, which is a little bit of what happened last time. Maybe we should have taken a little bit better care of it, didn't, and here we are. So, that just seems to me like a small, it looks like a lot of money, but when you look at the overall project to maintain that, keep that in good shape, I don't think that's a lot.
I understand what you're saying, however, we have so many projects that we need to address. When we look at something like this, we say, how can we save money so that we can do something else? Nobody's trying to
I'm not saying that, I'm
eliminate.
just saying, do you want to protect your 2 million, or do you want to spend it on another project and let this 2 million just go to waste over the years by not taking care of it the way you should? And maybe we could do it ourselves for 10 million or 10,000 or 7,000, but it's still a small, in my opinion, a small percentage amount to spend on a project that size. But I understand it's a lot of money, but you got to take care of your stuff, or you're going to be putting a new one in a couple of years. So that's my opinion. I mean, you could get bids on and all this stuff, but
So I guess what we'll do is we'll put it out for public bid, and we'll see where we go from there.
And I will just throw it out there since somebody did mention it, and I know it wasn't a significant push for it, but one of the ways to resolve something like this is to turf that field over off the corner of the middle school. If that were to become synthetic turf, the maintenance of grass cutting, we get all that time back. It's a significant investment up front, so maybe down the road in a year or 2, that's a conversation that the school board would want to entertain, to put a second turf field on campus. For now, we'll just look at getting additional bids for lawn maintenance, and we'll bring it back, and if the decision is to not outsource any of it, we'll continue to try to hit it with the manpower that we have available.
Next on my agenda is the gym roof at Peters Elementary. The warranty expired over the summer. We actually had the contractor come out, do a visual check of the roof with some minor repairs and a proposed moisture test. So what they do is they'll put sensors underneath the roof and they check for moisture. After that, as long as the moisture test comes back good and with the minor repairs they made, they will give us an additional 5-year warranty. I think it's something to invest in now to give us that additional 5 years so that we can start planning 5 years from now. We may be having to replace a roof at Peters Elementary.
This is just the gymnasium roof?
This is just the gymnasium roof, yep. So we still have time on the rest of the school roof. I believe that was another 6 years we have on that roof.
So it almost would balance out the
Almost to the same time, yes, yep.
I mean,
Is that your total cost, $2,839?
Correct.
Okay.
I think to get warranty for 5 more years, and it's only that much, I would go for.
Yeah, I agree.
And is there a cost for the warranty?
Not for the extension. No, they'll give us an extended 5 years.
Oh,
Yep,
nice.
with the test and,
That's if it passes.
correct. It has to pass the test.
Okay.
So again, we could
Do
spend
we
this.
suspect it will pass?
Yes,
the test?
yes. So again, verbally discussing
Yeah.
it with the tech that was out, he didn't see anything that would lead him to believe that there was moisture underneath the roof. The small repairs that they made were minor repairs. But again, you can't look underneath there. So visually, he feels it's okay, but they still need to do this in order to get the 5-year extension.
Is anyone opposed to this? Okay, that's good.
All right, so I'll put that on for Monday's approval. Next is the high school water softener. So we actually had money aside for the Slatington and the high school in this last budget season. Slatington ended up being more than we anticipated, so we used the high school and Slatington to pay for the Slatington water filter. So we're bringing it back to the board again to see if the board wants to continue to get bids for the high school water softener. And then once we have those bids, we can bring it back to the board for approval.
Would that include the special room that's needed?
Yes. Yeah. So, and that's one reason why it's gonna be more expensive than probably Slatington or the middle school, because there is no room at the high school to put the water softener like at Slatington or the middle school. We would have to build a room for it. So yeah, the bid would be to build the room and install the water softener.
And the high school was the original one that needed the water softener from the?
Well, all of our schools
Yeah,
needed.
but that was the most, that was
So
with the pipe that burst? and,
Correct, that
you
was
know,
the school that we did have the pipe burst, but they all tested high, and that's why we have water softeners.
Right, so I really feel like we should be looking into still pursuing that.
Can't hurt to get a bid.
If everybody's okay with that.
I think it's for health reasons also to do it properly like that. I know in my own home, I had to put a water softener in because of the metals within our, and I don't have my own well, but it's a whole community well, not Slatington. But I know also there was a lot of concern from public about the quality of water coming into our school. So I think every chance we get to correct that, I think we need to take.
So I'll continue getting bids for a water softener for the high school.
Yep, you wanna do that? Yep.
Next is the building bathroom renovation, and I believe Dr. Link has some information on that.
Sure. So a number of months ago, we identified, and this also came through the feasibility study, that some areas of concern were bathrooms throughout the districts, not only just because of the actual fixtures and the age of some of the fixtures throughout the district, but also there was a conversation about the aesthetics of the bathrooms, especially at the middle school and high school. Certainly when we have large gatherings in there, whether it's sports competitions, musicals, spring concerts, winter concerts, that type of stuff. So we asked McClure, who is now our architect of record, to put something together. So, I'm sorry, Alloy 5, thank you. See, it literally says it right there. If I scroll down half an inch. To put something together for considerations for bathrooms at those 3 buildings, to prioritize the level of need in cooperation or collaboration with administration, to bring back to the committee this evening to say this is kind of a high level view of the need at each building, as well as some costing or some projections if the school board would want to consider doing a life skills apartment at the high school, knowing that that's something that's also been on our 10-year plan. Really what we're looking for tonight is, do you want us to continue exploring this and actually go out for actual pricing at any of the buildings? And then also to help us prioritize the buildings if you want to move forward with this work, which is identified in our 10-year plan and could be addressed through some of the capital reserve monies that we've dedicated for work like this. So we'll start at the high school. It says first floor for architectural reasons. The first floor is actually the basement. And this would be what we call gang bathrooms, boys and girls, right outside of the rear entrance to the stage, or the bottom entrance to the auditorium seating. So those have been identified as a level 1, meaning that they are in the most need of upgrades. Priority level 2 on the basement level are really just these kind of faculty restrooms on the hallway heading along the back side of the cafeteria back towards our technology rooms back there. On the ground level, or the second level, there's significantly more. Priority level 1 would be the gang bathrooms right off of the main lobby, boys and girls, as well as the locker room bathrooms back along the locker rooms and behind the gymnasium here. Level 2 would be, again, just some faculty level bathrooms throughout, like the office areas, down by the library, over here near, kind of like across from guidance, there's some faculty bathrooms there as well. And then back here by some of our math wing classrooms, those classrooms are actually like priority level 3. They're in decent shape right now. The third floor of the high school, and again, they call them toilet rooms. They're not called bathrooms in schools. The 2 gang bathrooms, so male and female here, as well as some faculty bathrooms, or toilet rooms down here. Life skills classroom, this is just a floor print of what it would look like. You've seen this before. Now we have a little bit more kind of numbers of what this would look like. So how they break this down is that this is only addressing priority level 1, the bathrooms, so those red ones that are in the most dire need, the high use ones and the more public facing type of bathrooms when we have guests coming in for large events. So you're looking at about 2,800 square foot of what they would call heavy renovations. Heavy renovations is more than just fixtures. This is like, we need to make it ADA accessible now. We actually need to move plumbing around. We need to move walls around, that type of stuff. Priority level, so light renovation on the priority level 1 bathrooms is about 630 square foot. The life skills apartment, which would be a total like new installation, is about 1,000 square foot. We're looking at about $400 to $440 a square foot for the heavy renovation, and about $185 to $220 a square foot for light renovations. As we move to, now we're going to take a look at the middle school. Middle school obviously only has one floor. Here we are, the red indicates mostly student gang bathrooms. So the back hallway, the bathrooms right here across from the gymnasium, the bathrooms, the student bathrooms, boys and girls, outside the auditorium, and then these like faculty bathrooms as well, which grown-ups often use when we have large events there as well. Orange, so priority level 2 would be the locker room bathrooms in the middle school. And then the blues are the faculty toilet rooms throughout the building. So really prioritizing like the lobby areas, the gymnasium lobby, the auditorium lobby, and then this set in the back hallway here, which is high, heavy student usage. About 1,600 square foot for what we would consider heavy renovation, 400 square foot of what we would consider light renovation for those level 1s. Again, $400 to $440 a square foot for heavy renovation, $185 to $220 for light renovation.
This was a middle school, right?
That was the middle school, yes.
Dr. Link, I'm sorry, was the cost the same for both the high school and middle
The
school? I
square
missed the
footage,
top
yes.
one. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And once we're through this, by tomorrow, I'll have this, or by the time these minutes go out, I'll have this linked into the presentation. Peters Elementary, here we're talking about the first floor, so ground level, gang bathrooms, male and female. Here, so this is more of like the, right across from like, where like our Head Start parents come in the morning, down near the kindergarten wing. We also have the gang bathrooms, male and female, across from the gymnasium cafeteria area there. This is like oftentimes where, this is where our students come in off the buses in the morning. Second tier would be, Peters actually has a locker room, for those of you that were able to do a walkthrough, but there is a locker room off of Peters Gymnasium. It's not, by no means does it get the amount of usage that the red areas do, but it does get usage. And then these kind of faculty bathrooms here. And then the blue ones are the classroom, individual classrooms. A number of the classrooms over there have their own individual toilet rooms in them. Again, second floor of Peters, it's really just these kind of gang bathrooms here. Right off of those are some faculty bathrooms, and that's where we would look to do the second floor bathrooms up there. Those are kind of all priority 1 up there, priority level 1. Peters cost, they don't have heavy renovation listed in here. Heavy renovation would be about 2,200 square foot. Estimated cost of light renovation, 185 to 220. This should actually be heavy renovation here, and it would also be that about 400 to 440 square foot. Yep. I'm sorry, that was a typo there. Did my computer just die? Losing it. Thank you.
Yep.
Just give me a second here to reconnect.
No, it's not working. It's not plugged in. It's good.
So I guess what we're kind of looking for tonight is, would you like administration to continue exploring renovation bathrooms, and if so, renovating the bathrooms, and if so, at which schools? In which case I could go back, Mr. Mann and I could go back to, thank you, could go back to Alloy 5 and say, we know that we want to prioritize these bathrooms in these schools. Can you actually start coming up with designs so then we can then go out for bid for contractors to actually get numbers, and then we would have to go with really low bid that meets the bid requirement criteria. So high school, bathrooms, middle school bathrooms, Peters bathrooms. Slatington bathrooms are in decent shape right now. We don't even have them to be brought forth. And then also in that mix, would you like to consider administration to further explore a life skills apartment in the basement area of the high school?
Sherry, what's in our capital reserve?
Hold on a second. I think there was 3 million, but we've done projects this year at almost $1 million, so there's probably around 2 million left in capital reserve right now. However, our fund balance is at like a little over 14 million right now until I get the auditor's numbers back, so.
Were the bathrooms on the feasibility study, was that part of the red things that were needed to be done?
They were, and then we invited Alloy 5 to come back and kind of walk through them again and actually kind of get some like square footage measurements, and then they can convert that into an associated dollar amount per square foot.
But this is something that we thought about starting to take care of our buildings because this is what needs to be done.
Yes.
Yes.
That, and then outside of the physical kind of like plumbing part of it was also, I mean, there was some valid conversation about when we have people coming into our schools for these large events, we want a sense of pride, and we want it aesthetically to look welcoming, like we care, and we do care, but they, you know, they're old, they're tired, and they don't have that sense of pride anymore, especially when, you know, like when we're there, when, you know, when we do our winter musical and our spring plays, there's that auditorium is full almost at every showing, and when intermission comes, everybody runs to the restrooms, right? And
I personally feel like some of those bathrooms are kind of a priority. I don't know that all of them are a priority right now. I know that you might get better pricing by doing more, but I also, just the heavy reno, if you were to look at all three schools and just do the heavy reno on all those buildings, you're at $3 million with that, what their quoted amount there.
And just, will the bids actually come in at, we don't know
Right,
until we know.
right, exactly, but they're estimating that, you know, to be approximate.
Did you compute their total value of what it would be? I came up with 4 million, but I didn't.
You just did heavy reno, I
Oh, you
didn't
just
even
did
do
heavy,
the other,
okay,
yeah. But I do know, like, I did the walkthrough, and I do agree that some of those bathrooms, especially the ones that the public is really seeing, should be addressed. I mean, I've even heard of odors, you know, that just kind of come from some of them because they're so old and it's seeped into the tiles and things, you know, like, I mean.
And that's really what we're looking for, like what help us prioritize kind of by building and then by toilet rooms in the buildings.
I mean, when you go out for bid on some of this, can you have breakouts of like, you know, get a price for these bathrooms in this building, these bathrooms in this building, and then, you know, like kind of get alternates?
Sure, you could, but then you gotta keep in mind too, the more bathrooms we do in one building, you will get a better price for them. And if they're jumping around. You know,
Well, that would be with their alternate price to add in this, and that. They would say, add this much, add this much, add this much. Then we can get an idea, well, would this be worth it to do this whole building for this much? And with all the ads, or do we just do those
Do all the
mains?
gyms and all the auditoriums at one time.
Like, you know, have a base bid for just the major bathrooms, and then have alternate, you know, or ads, add this one, add this one, add this one, separate
Do
pricing.
you mean for like the level 2? Is that what you're talking about? Or just,
I
right
think
here
we
it's
don't
just
even
level
touch
1.
This is just, yeah.
Level 1.
Level, I think we need to address level 1
Yep.
right now for sure.
So then when you're saying, could you just clarify
Sure.
what you're saying
So
by?
if you know, Alloy 5 would understand. You get a base bid for each building in the main bathrooms that you're looking to do, like the ones that are near auditoriums, the public is going to. Get a base price there. And then you put in, you have them say, okay, now, can you give us a separate price to add in this second floor bathroom and this bathroom
then they can give you a separate price for that. So then you can decide if you want to add that in to the base, or if you want to just do just the base, you know.
I agree exactly what you're saying, I was thinking, but also include the life skills department. I think we need to address that too.
That too, I mean, we can, I mean, I don't know if you would have to do a separate bid for that one, or
I mean, if we could break this
that in
down,
the bathroom.
if we could break this down over years.
Probably be a separate bid.
Yeah, so that one would just be a separate one. So.
If we,
Didn't we talk about also looking at outside, like the construction part of LCTI, helping out with building stuff and
So
that kind of?
I would advise against trying to use the LCTI students for many reasons. One of which is just the logistics of getting them back and forth, because it wouldn't necessarily just be our students that are enrolled in programs that do this type of work, as well as, quite honestly, just the liability of having even our students or other district students doing that work in our buildings. That's one of the reasons why, some of you may recall, probably about 10, 15 years ago, LCTI used to do home construction. They would do a house construction and sale, and they actually got away from using the students to do that actual type of work, which is then kind of purchased either by a homeowner or, in this case, purchased by a district. I would advise against that.
Also, if I can add that a time frame of doing things by the students would be much longer than it would if we had an outside contractor.
Yeah, way longer. Yeah. Years.
And the quality might be the same, but there would be less warranty on that work, or none at all.
again, I would be all in favor of looking into just getting the high traffic areas done the first year, plus the life skills, stagger this a couple of years to spread this cost out to the district. But
You're essentially saying like the level one stuff is what you want to do.
I don't know if it's all level one. I'm talking, I think what Mrs. Sire was saying is like, we're near auditoriums, near gyms, where we get a lot of people coming in. Hit those first.
We're the priority ones, but yeah.
Yeah. Hit those first and maybe spread this out over a couple of years so that it's not going to impact us as much financially.
May we spend a couple minutes now just kind of looking through it again? Because really what I would like is the group, the committee to say, this is what we're now considering our top priority in each building. And maybe Mr. Mann and Mrs. Walters, if you could just kind of keep notes on this, even if we'll get it into the minutes, but if you could just keep notes on this for now.
Yep.
So Northern Lehigh High School, this is the ground level. These are the gang bathrooms off of the cafeteria heading towards the, yeah.
Definite priority.
That just used to.
Okay. The ground, so that was the basement rather. This is the ground level. This would be the male and female
Definitely.
off of the auditorium there.
And the locker rooms.
And then I'm hearing some people say in the locker rooms.
I don't know how the locker rooms are, but again, that's where you can add for that school. Can you please give us a separate price for the locker room bathrooms?
Sure.
That way we can decide if we want to add
That
or
would
not.
be an ad.
Right, an ad.
Yeah,
I agree
okay.
with that, though, make those an ad, because the other one should be a priority.
Right.
Can I just remind everybody about the ADA thing too, just for the gang? Like, I'm looking at that and we have the gang bathrooms. I think that's great. But is there one bathroom that we send people that come to our auditorium and things like that, that need assistance, that need more of a family bathroom?
Well, and I think that's why those bathrooms there.
The other two aren't.
Those bathrooms there would be, like they would likely be considered heavy renovation because we actually have to make them ADA compliant. Yeah. So it's really like these.
Yeah.
So this is actually considered one unit, even though it's male and female. It's considered one unit, okay? Because they share plumbing within the walls. Then we would look at this here, which are more like the faculty, but we likely would have to have on that level some ADA compliant ones.
I have one basic question, and this came up when they were talking about renovating buildings. And I think there was a conversation about ADA compliance that you just brought up. And someone said that You don't need to be in ADA compliance unless you start to work there. And then when you start to do renovations, everything needs to be ADA compliant. The question I'm asking, and I just want to know before we get halfway done and say, oh, you got to do the rest of these, if we start and we start renovating some of these areas, are we under obligation under ADA rules to do everything?
We can find that out. My understanding was it has to break a certain threshold of the percentage of the total square foot of the building. But we can see clarity on that.
I would definitely want to know that.
Can you just write that down? Okay. So I think I'm hearing the male and female, what I would call student ones, because this is the ones that the students use, but they also get used heavily during events. And then the 2 faculty ones next to it. I don't know. I'm
I don't
asking
know
the
how the
question.
faculty ones are. I mean, if they can make the student ones ADA accessible, then, I mean, do we need the faculty?
I think those are the gang bathrooms though. So if I have somebody that I need to help change or transfer, there's no place to do that in a gang bathroom.
Gotcha.
That's why, I think ADA, yes, the height of the sinks and things like that.
Right.
But I'm just thinking about a lot of my students that are in wheelchairs.
Right.
You take them anywhere and you have to know where you're going to toilet them because you don't have the room in a gang bathroom. Even though they have that extra, like sometimes they have an extra large one, it's still not really.
And the family bathroom.
That's normally what we use if we take them,
Yeah, but there is nothing there. So there, one of
I don't
the-
think there's any in the gang bathrooms.
We don't have anything designated as like a family bathroom in the buildings.
Well, I think that faculty bathroom is very close to that other one, and it might actually, I mean,
Work as that.
do you want to do it as a step, like an ad, and see what they, or do you want to include that right away?
My preference would be for this ground level at the high school to do these 2.
Okay.
And then these locker room ones that are also in red would be an ad.
With that.
So do you,
Yes.
can I just ask, do you do those
Yeah, 2
faculty,
basic ones
those are
and
2 separate toilets,
Right.
right? I mean, it's not, couldn't you do one of them as like a family bathroom?
If you could turn it into a family bathroom, I mean,
To
that
me,
would
it
be-
makes sense. So during the daytime, it's faculty use.
Right.
But when we open our building for events, it becomes
I mean, you
a
can
family bathroom for anybody who brings in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think so. You need 2 separate bathrooms there, right?
Have we done a lot of renovation of the locker room bathrooms in the past couple of years? Because I'm going to go back to before even Dr. Link had come here, we had gone through a complete walkthrough, and those bathrooms were horrible then. And if we haven't done anything with them, because that also, they're used by students from other schools. And it certainly, I think it makes an impression when you have something so bad.
So that's
And that's
where-
my question.
That's where we can
Yeah.
have them do an ad to add those bathrooms. We'll get a base bid on those 2.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm
And
just
then-
saying
yeah.
that putting the locker room bathrooms cannot be put total to a back burner.
Right, we just
That's all
have
I'm
to see
saying.
what the cost is gonna be for all that right now, and then we can decide, well, do we add that now, or do we do those
Next year
later?
or 2 years, yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
That's all we're saying.
To include for sure, like,
We're not saying
let's see what we
Yeah.
get,
You just can't afford to do it all in one shot.
No.
That's what we're trying to say.
Okay, I feel like we have direction for the ground level. Now this is what they call the 3rd level, but it's the top floor. I call it the 2nd floor.
And those are mainly used by the students, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
Alternate.
Huh? I would do an ad for that one too, like, do ads for these.
3rd level would be ads.
But that's not a.
Then we can decide cost.
Sure. Yeah.
I know the contractors don't like that, but.
Okay, this now would be the high school apartment, life skills apartment, where they're saying it's about 1,000 square foot. It would be heavy renovation and be about $400 to $440 dollars per square foot. I think we can just ask to make this a standalone bid.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
But that's a priority because we want to get that
Right.
done.
Right, and everything is budget contingent. And we would have to have, this would have to be part of the considerations when we're building the 27-28 budget then. And what we do with capital reserve. Okay, so the middle school, my opinion is this bathroom here and this bathroom get the most usage. Then I would say this one also does during the school day. Like when it's during the school day, it's this, this, and this. When we're having events, it's this, this, and this.
Is that actually used during events? Because I was in there once and I was amazed at what that looked like. Is that the one that just looks like it's a prison bathroom? Yeah. I'm sorry, for lack of better words, that's what I was told.
You have just described it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, faculty use this during the day.
Yes.
To be honest, I honestly don't think that auditorium bathroom is all that bad. I mean, it could use more of like a cosmetic facelift, but it doesn't look really like it needs a heavy reno. I mean, I know that
Are you talking about the student ones
yeah,
here?
that one there.
Yeah.
The one over by the gymnasium, I'm pretty sure that one needs a major redo. Like,
And the other one, the auditorium, the faculty bathrooms that are used at the auditorium.
That
The
one
the bottom, that is like a prison.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
We've never been in a men's room. You gotta try. And that one could be easily.
Natalie, I didn't know it was even there until the tour.
I mean, I can give a little perspective. So the bathroom that is across from the gymnasium is probably in better shape than any of the student bathrooms that you see where the cursor is right now, and then down by the music band room.
Okay.
That's only open to students during lunch. So just because of the proximity of where it is, I would say that the one that is right next to the auditorium and the music, that right there, we definitely have some recurring issues that we see with one of the sinks. With so that's just the perspective of what I'm seeing every day in the building.
But
you know,
unless it's changed in 2 years since I've been there, the one at the top corner wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. I mean, we do have a recurring issue with one of the toilets, and we don't know. Is it plumbing? Is it kids doing things? We try to stay on top of it, but often throughout the year, I will have one of those toilets in there that's not functioning. Got to close it down. We're getting maintenance in to constantly address it. I think it could be a larger issue. I just don't think that it's that constant of things happening from students.
Fixing it, and it keeps breaking. There's more than just.
Right. Yeah. And those are our heaviest use. Those two bathrooms are the heaviest used bathrooms during the school year, during the day. Those are our main student bathrooms.
These two. This one here and this one?
That's correct.
Right.
The locker rooms are a different story.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, if you've been in and you did the walkthrough, you know what it looks like. I think that to have bathroom usage in there would certainly need to be something done to have students feel good about using the bathrooms in there.
So let me ask you, if you're gonna pick two for us to fix this coming year, what two would you pick? Because we can't fix everything.
No. I mean, I would. I mean, it's really hard. I mean, I think if you were going to choose two that you were going to do, and you're thinking about when we have events, you almost certainly have to do something with the one at the bottom. Yeah. It's used by faculty, and it is used by the community when they come in for events. I mean, it's really, if you're telling me two, I mean, it's like, I think I need four that really need it, and you're saying two. The other one I would have to say is we would have to probably the one that's by the music band hallway right here, just because I know I get heavy use. I get heavy use down there too.
You're saying the two at the auditorium.
You know, it's almost like if you made me pick two, could I do one and then half and half, right? If I could just get whatever's going on with one of the toilets in one and the sink, for example, in the other one. But now I'm just kind of patching it. So it's very difficult to choose like that.
But if you were to do the three of them on the bottom and then get an ad for that one in the corner up top.
This one.
Yeah, with those three.
Just to see what comes back with. I mean, honestly, I
So
would
prioritize these three, and then this would be an ad.
Is that one up at the top right there used more than that one by the gym?
I would say in terms of student use, they're equal. It just depends on your proximity of where your class is at that time.
But the one on the right you're saying should get done?
Yeah.
But you see, no one cares to do any of the eggs, you know that.
Are you gonna have an ADA one in there, Shelley? Would there be an ADA one for you?
It would be one of the two bottom ones.
Yeah, that's why I would do the big one and then the family back.
Okay, so again, what I'm hearing is these three here, priority, and then this would be an ad. Okay. Knowing that for all of these buildings is going to be a multi-year process.
And the family the faculty bathroom is a family bathroom.
We would have to see if it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, like potentially that would be part of the conversation. Need to make a notation.
Yep, I have that written down. Yep.
Yes, they're huge.
I think they're big.
They're big.
Yeah.
You can make those.
Okay, and then for Peters, so we have how to prioritize within the buildings. And then for Peters Elementary, ground level, we have here by the kindergarten wing and where they come in for Head Start. And we have here off of the gymnasium cafeteria, the gym cafetorium, and the parent entrance. I'm sorry, the bus entrance.
Are those heavy use, both of them?
No. The most heavy used in the entire school is the one outside the gym in the cafeteria.
Right there.
Because every kid, when they're in the lunchroom, that's where they're going. Yeah.
And then there's also some on the other floor too.
There's some on the second floor, which are the other ones that are most used, but only by really second graders.
So, I'm sorry.
The second grade hallway smells really bad.
So this one here by the gymnasium, and then the top floor, Mr. James, you would say gets more usage than this one over here?
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Schneider, right?
Also that one there, Dr. Link, that is also in the midst of all of the individual classrooms, which all have individual classrooms. So, again, that one doesn't get nearly as much use. The one across from the gym is very low functioning right now. And would be the biggest one.
point.
All right, so we would say this would be an ad over here, and then top floor and gymnasium location.
Yep.
Okay?
Correct.
Is that faculty next to it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Yeah, and that's all included.
Two faculty
Yeah.
bathrooms.
Okay.
And then the same thing on the top floor. Ms. Thompson.
So the priority is by the gym and the upstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
So then, that helps us prioritize within the buildings. Do you want us to kind of continue to work to draw up bid request documents for all buildings? Or do you want us to say, prioritize the buildings?
So I would prefer, and I think this will be where your most cost-effective way of going would be to look at all three buildings now and see where you're at. I mean, and then we decide, do we just do these basic ones in each building? Maybe we will add everything, like I feel like
So
we do need to.
if we did our math, it's like 4.8 million or so. We only have 2 million in capital reserve. When we come to balance the budget time and we have to dip into that money again, people are going to be saying, why do we spend money? So we need to be paying attention to it now so we don't get ourselves into a predicament later.
But if we just do one building at a time, I think that our costs might be, over the long term, we might have higher costs with these renovations, and if we were to do a lot of it kind of up front. And remember, year to year, the cost of everything goes up. So I think we need to have a number now. I think we need to see if we can come lower. I mean, we do have the fund balance that is, 15 million? You are continually doing investments so that we can kind of put back I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the numbers, you know what I mean? And I think then we can make our decisions.
Sherry, is there still the option of getting the bonds?
That's what I was just gonna say, Gail, thank you.
When we did the feasibility study, we talked about example, bond A, bond B, bond C, different options, right, for different things. Is that still something that, as we're starting to talk through some of these larger dollar amount repairs, because they're repairs now.
Correct.
You have you take even just the high school water softener, that starts to add up, and before you know it, all the stuff we just talked about, it's easily $5 million. So if we would look at it over a period of time, what does that cost versus if we literally pick and choose? Because you're right, I agree with you, Natalie, that we're going to get to a point where it's going to be cost prohibitive. If we say we want this one, but we don't want that one, let's put this one in, all of a sudden we're not going to be able to do anything. So I don't know it. Can you help me out understanding that bond process?
So, yeah, I mean, my thought process would be to write. I think we reach out to bond counsel and we say, hey, let's just go out there on a limb and say, I want to look at a $10 million bond. What is that $10 million bond going to cost us over a 20-year period to pay that back? And now you've got $10 million to look at. Let's do bathrooms. Let's do this. And what other projects are like on the cusp of that we really should be doing? And can we roll that into a bond? What does that bond look like? What's that 20-year bond look like? Is it a payment that's not going to increase much on the front end and we're going to be paying just the interest on the front end? And when I think we're at like 14 years, these bonds are paid off that then we pay heavy on that 10 million the last 6 years. That's how it's kind of structured. You're taking on a little bit more now, knowing that when all these bonds go away, I think we're at like right around 20 million in bonds. We then have this $10 million bond that we can pay off heavy then the next 6 years when all of these go away. So, yeah, and I think it would make sense to go to bond counsel and say, hey, work us up some numbers. What does that look like? And that might give you guys an idea of, let's look at this whole dollar amount and what can do and what it's going to do to the budget moving
And
forward
we
as well.
also, I talked to you before about if we go out for bond, we want to keep that money in our fund balance high, because that gives us the best rate when we go out for the bond.
Correct. Because the more you use your fund balance, you start depreciating that fund balance, they're going to say, what are you doing? And you're going to lower your bond rating, and you're not going to get good interest rates on your bond. So before you start diminishing that pot of money, you might want to let's look at bonds and let's see what we can do to do some of these budgets.
I think what you're talking about is what they call wraparound financing.
Exactly.
And I don't know if we looked at that as a board for a recent period of time, but I agree with Ms. Susak and you. I think we should do that. At least get the numbers to look at as an alternative. Do we want to go that way or not? And if we don't, we just want to finance up front, that's fine. But as you said, that's fund balance.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If we don't want to dip into fund balance and then realize, oh crap,
no
we
fund
have to
balance.
go now out for bond, and we've already taken 4 million out of fund balance, which then lowers our rating.
Correct.
We should probably look at it at the beginning of the process.
Dr. Link, then when you go out for bid, can you separate the schools? Can you get them like high school, middle school, like to get your quotes?
Yes, Alloy 5 is really easy to work with. They can help us structure the bid request.
That way we can
where we can do it by building and then by toilet room in the building. And quite honestly, we can probably begin both conversations simultaneously about with bond counsel and with our financial advisors, as well as with Alloy 5.
So let me just quickly look at something really quickly here. Go ahead. You keep going.
So I'm going to stall a little bit while Mrs. Torres pulls up her stuff. But the information that we have right now with the toilet rooms within the buildings, and then also requesting bids by building, that will then help us kind of go out and get that information and then make an informed decision about, do we want to try to do it with the funds we have available, spread it out over a number of years? Do we want to go out for bond in addition to the bonds that we currently have? I just want to make sure everybody realizes that we currently have bond payments that go out for many years yet. they fall off pretty drastically at the end, but they're still in existence. So you got to balance the debt that we currently have about any future debt we want to incur. But then all of that will help us decide then prioritizing the buildings and the projects within the buildings.
So our bonds will be told off in entirety by 2036, 37. So we've got 11 years.
11 years.
And we're paying what, $2 billion a year?
And we pay right around $2 million a year.
Okay.
Yep. That is correct. Just slightly over $2 million a year. So you're looking at 10 years. If you look at doing this and you're going out 10 years, well, then you're going to kind of just pay the interest on these for the first 10 years, and then you'll wrap that into paying your $1 million or $2 million a year at the end. That's kind of how we do it with the wraparound financing.
The $2 billion will probably go up a little, but.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that may be the best pathway forward to do several significant projects like this.
Let's just start doing
That-
it piecemeal. We get ourselves in trouble, I think.
Yep.
So that, I mean, I looked at Mr. Mann, I looked at Mrs. Molatoris, but I feel like we have enough information now to know what our next step is in getting more information. Okay, thank you for that conversation. I know it was a little bit longer, but it's an important one.
And if there's no other items to address on the buildings and grounds, we'll close it then, and I will turn it over to finance. That's who's next?
Yes, please.
Vicky, you're up.
Well, I have way less heavy material to share with you tonight.
Goodness.
Last week I had sent out the notification to the community, parents, staff, just notifying everybody that we are again CEP, that we are providing universal free breakfast and lunch for the students for the upcoming school year, and that they do not need to complete a free and reduced meal application. Also, we put together our beginning of the year packets, which we do every year. We print off enough for our whole upcoming kindergarten class and get those distributed. And then we also have about 20 copies or so at all the schools. Basically just includes information again about CEP, about our food service policies, procedures, tips for setting up a meal account through our school cafe app, and then also our birthday basket form for anybody who wants to take advantage to celebrate their student's birthday throughout the year by ordering them a treat in the classroom. Third item on my list here is tomorrow I will be finishing up our menus for our entire school year and getting those posted through Andy Kern to the website under the cafeteria tab, and also sending out our monthly Dining with the Dogs food service newsletters. And then we have some upcoming catering starting next week. We'll be hit the ground running. It'll start getting very busy for us. So with the new teacher orientation on August 10th, the CLIU teacher induction, August 11th, 12th, and 13th, our welcome back breakfast on August 18th, our staff picnic on August 20th. And then lastly, I just had an update regarding our adult meal prices. So we did not change any pricing for students. So again, their first meal for breakfast and lunch is free. However, if they're still hungry and want to purchase a second meal, either breakfast or lunch, we do have pricing in our POS system to charge them for those second meals. So for students, no pricing went up, but Pennsylvania Department of Ed, Bureau of Food and Nutrition have an adult meal price calculator. So I just put numbers in that and it tells me what my adult meals should be for breakfast and lunch. So in prior years, we were serving a full meal to our adult staff at $2.95, and it is telling me I need to increase that to $3.05 for a breakfast meal. So that's an increase of 10 cents. And then for lunch, prior years it was $4.85 for a lunch. I now need to increase that to $5.05. So lunch increases by 20 cents for this upcoming school year. And that's for a full meal. So, I mean, I think when we have our Thanksgiving and our Christmas meals, that's when we're giving full meals out to the adults, but oftentimes they do a lot of a la carte, just getting a slice of pizza, so we have different prices for that. So that's just if they came and got all 5, meal components on their tray. Outside of that, that's all I have. Anybody have any questions on anything?
Your à la carte prices will stay the same then as they were last year?
Yeah, yep. Everything else stays the same except for this, so.
Okay.
How's your staffing?
Good. We just, we hired new people for middle school and Slatington, and we have like 3 subs, so we are doing okay right now.
That's good.
Yeah, so we'll be getting them onboarded. I have my staff come in 2 days before the first day of school, so they'll be in the 19th and the 20th, just getting onboarded and doing some trainings, getting the kitchens ready and set up, so.
And equipment's working like it should?
Yes, I mean, so far it's been sitting for the summer, so hopefully no issues turning everything on, but yeah, everything's good to go right now, to my knowledge, so yeah.
Great.
Thank you. Can you send me your notes then?
Yeah.
To this? Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Nikki?
Your letter that went out was really nice. Good
Thank
job.
you. Thanks.
Okay, go take care of your kids. And we turn it over to Sherry for the
Yep,
budget
so, state budget was passed on July 12th of '26. Basic ed funding, Northern Lehigh is slated to receive $8,497,803. That is just shy of $41,000 more than what I actually have in the budget. So we will have approximately $41,000 more. Special education budget was $1,802,328. That is just shy of $5,000 more than what I had in the budget. And the Ready to Learn grant is $422,616. That is $1,912 less than what I had in the budget.
How much less?
$1,912. Yep, just under $2,000. So overall, we're going to receive about $44,000 more in revenue than what I had originally in the budget. So just wanted to give the board that update. Any questions on the state budget?
Just glad they passed it.
Yeah, time. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not for months late.
Timely.
Yeah.
All right, the next thing I have on the agenda is I did provide the board through a recent board update, the Walnut Port tax question that came up. I don't know if everybody was able to read that, but there was some taxpayers who had reached out to the Walnut Port tax collector and said, I only went up, my taxes were only supposed to go up 2%, and I went up way more than 2%. Again, as we have talked many times at committee meetings and board meetings, it is due to the STEBS tax equalization and what has to happen because we live in 2 counties. Northampton County tax bills, even before we went with a 2%, increased by over 5% to start with on the cusp of that. I wanted to get the notice out because I wanted people to understand that as a board, you have no control in that happening. That all happens behind the scenes. It involves STEBS. It involves the sale of properties and the market value of opposed to assessed values. It has nothing to do with what the board passes. The board passes a blended tax increase then between the 2 counties that is applied after the STEBS recalculation occurs. So she did call the 2 or 3 taxpayers back and explained to them, provided them the document that I had provided her, and she said they totally understand and they were thankful for the information. So I just wanted to put it out there again that everybody knows that this is not Northern Lehigh saying, we don't like Northampton County as much, so we want to charge them more. It is not like that. It's because they are going with assessed values from 1995 versus Lehigh County with assessed values homes from 2013. And when you look at what STEB's market value does, when you look at Lehigh County between Slatington Borough and Washington Township, Washington Township's assessed value to market value is about 90%. The assessed value is about 90% of the market value. For Slatington, it's about 86, 87%. Northampton County, between their assessed value and market value, is covering around 26%. So that's why, I mean, when STEB is taking and using those numbers and applying them to the formulas across the two counties, it's because of the disparaging between the Northampton counties assessed and market values that's causing the driver. I did let her know that there is proposed legislation out there. The PASBO was hoping to get it passed through the budget process this year. It did not happen, but it has had the most momentum that it has had in years. They figure once sessions go back to start in the fall, that this is going to be a top priority with some of the people, some of the representatives, based on the effect that they're hearing from their counties where their school districts are split between two counties. Because every school district that has dual counties experiences this. So they think this is the first year that the momentum is really there, and they're hoping that they might be able to get it pushed over the top, that if it is a 2%, the equalization of mills and using STEBs will go away, and I will put 2% on Lehigh County and I will put 2% in Northampton County, and that's where it'll stay. The problem is, it's a law, so they have to change law before they can change the process. So it's getting everybody to understand that. Okay?
I have two questions. Did you get calls from anybody in Lehigh County saying, ooh, my taxes didn't go up 2%, they actually dropped?
No, I did not. Because they were definitely under 2%.
3 or 4 years ago, you remember Waldeport actually got a lower decrease?
Yep.
You didn't get calls then saying, you made a mistake and didn't charge me, so.
Nope. It's not the way it works. All right, so that's the Walnut Report. The next thing is on the board agenda for Monday night. I would like to put on the supplementary personnel salary schedule. That is the schedule that approves our substitute teacher rates for the year, our short-term and long-term rates. It does our substitute paras and aides and nursing staff and custodial maintenance and cafeteria staff. It also sets our prices for like our game workers and our ambulance and everything through the year. There is no changes. These haven't changed in the last couple of years. I did look at our sub rates again this year. We are still within the realm of what the other Lehigh County schools are doing. We're on the lower end of that, though. So probably this coming year, when we go to moving to the budget process again, I will probably look at increasing our substitute teacher rates, which is then going to cause a rate increase for our permanent subs, which is where a lot of the driving factor will be in the budget with this, because if I raise that, you're raising at least 3 people that we pay for 180 days a year. So, but that is my recommendation right now, is to stay where we're at. But when we look at the 27-28 school year, I am going to look at possibly increasing them. If you notice, they haven't increased in, it'll be 4 years. So, but that's it. If there's no questions about that, that's what I would be looking to present on Monday evening to the board for approval.
There's an asterisk under summer music instrumental teacher,
Yes.
but there's no definition of the asterisk.
Well, let me check that out.
Oh, that's below.
Yep, it's the information below it. So, yeah, it explains that he will get paid the amount of money for the number of students that I think we charge $35 a student, it's 30 or 35. He will get paid that amount of money, but not to exceed $1,000. So if he only has 10 kids that come to summer band and it's $35, he'll get paid $350. If he has 100 kids that come and he gets $3,500, he's only getting paid $1,000. So that sets the maximum, the ceiling on what he
This
can
is the
make.
guy that stands on the ladder?
Yeah, well, this is the guy at the elementary school level, not the high school level. This is the elementary kid.
Well, I hear the band right every morning.
No, it's not that group.
Sherry, is this tied to the teacher contract?
No, this is not tied to the teacher contract. The only thing that's tied to the teacher, no, nothing on here is tied to the teacher contract.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Thank you. So next.
And the next thing is DocuSign service contract, and I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Link.
Okay, so I'm sure many of you are aware that Mrs. King, my administrative assistant, who often communicates with all of you when we send out information, she's also the school district notary, so she's a licensed notary as well. We would like to have her, so she's eligible to be an online notary as well. There's no additional cost for that. But if that happens, we're required to use one of the approved online signature services. And we looked through the list that the authorizing agency sent to us, and we are recommending that we go with DocuSign because of pricing, and then also because it's most agencies are using DocuSign. Many people on the user end of it are already familiar of how to use DocuSign. We are recommending that we do the standard level, which would be $360 annually for the first year, because this would be the first time that we're doing it, and then we would see if we could drop down to the personal or do we need to go up to the business pro. I'm guessing standard will probably accommodate our needs. This comes into play when we're registering students and maybe one of the legal guardians is out of state, sometimes out of country, and we need to have something notarized saying that the resident parent has like full educational decision-making rights, those type of nuances. It's happening more and more as our families become, I'm going to say more mobile, especially more diverse, but honestly more mobile. Certainly when it's a two-family household or a two-parent or a single-parent household, and one of the other parents who still has rights is living somewhere else, and we need their permission to do something. This we would also recommend because she's also technically the school district and school board notary, that this would come out of the school board line item for expenses. So we're talking about $360 a year. Okay, thank you for your support on that for all of us, and especially on behalf of Mrs. King. This will be on the agenda next Monday for approval.
Do we have access to use personally?
Not personally, unfortunately. It's just for school district related business. Yeah.
Nice try.
But we do have some really good notaries within the district boundaries that are great to work with. Yeah.
Anybody have anything else for finance? Hearing none, I will close finance and turn this over to Mrs. Bilby for the extra and co-curricular meeting.
All right, I open the extra and co-curricular committee meeting and turn it over. Dr. Lake, is that you?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Bilby. So we have 3 initial club applications on the agenda this evening. Remember, for initial club applications, the rate is the same for the entire first year, and that rate is $200. The TV studio club would be at the high school. So this is the work that occurs for the dog dish daily sessions before the start of the school day and a little bit after the start of the school day. We recognize that the 2 advisors have been doing that for years. This year, they finally submitted an initial club application, which would be $200. And then based on the review at the end of the year, they would come back to the board for approval for an agreed upon rate, which would be the rate moving forward. For those of you that have seen Dog Dish, or maybe some of your children have seen it over the years, they do a really good job putting information out to the student body on a daily basis. So administration is recommending that this goes to the full board for Monday night for the initial club application approval.
I love it, yes.
Okay. The next one is the Leadership Club at the high school. This is kind of like an outgrowth of a lot of the work that we've been doing with essential skills, leadership, opportunities for our students, not only in the district, but in networking with other districts throughout the IU. And this club advisor is requesting, so he's kind of been doing this. Mr. McCarty, who's actually one of our support staff members, has been running these student activities. He's now looking to formalize it. This is being fully endorsed by high school administration. And it's really just about growing leadership within our student body. Again, $200 for the first year. High school administration and I also recommend that this be approved for the first year. And then we do a check at the end of the year to check participation rates and if they've met their goals.
How is this different than the Honor Society?
So the Honor Society is something that there's certain criteria that kids have to get into, that have to meet, like the NHS.
And this doesn't?
This does not. This is like, we're looking for willing participant students that want to engage, want to be part of something bigger than just themselves.
It's National Honor Society, you have to a certain grade level. These guys can do Bs or, be a mid.
Honestly,
level.
this is a group that maybe captures some students that would not necessarily have an outlet for this type of work otherwise, or would not necessarily want to do it just by themselves, right? There's safety in numbers sometimes when students want to try something new. Mr. McCarty does a great job working with these students.
And we need more leaders, so.
Absolutely. Okay, the next one is our junior theater club, and we have two of our audience members tonight. Neither of them indicated that they wanted to speak on this. We're excited about this. And this may be one, Mr. Green, where I look to you to amend or to suspend the policy for a minute tonight. But we have Sarah and Robin with us. They work with our students all the times for many years now, and have children in the district. Both have children in the district. Yes. And they're all school aged currently.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can have 3 minutes starting now.
So administration supports this at the middle school level and at the 6th grade level. 5th and 6th. Oh, okay, all right. Hot off the press, 5th and 6th.
To gather as many kids that wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to be in theater. The high school program is limited to how many middle school students are allowed to participate, and that is based on the regulations from the Freddie Awards. So there are so many students that don't have the opportunity to participate, but participate on the broader level of not just performing, but helping with design stuff, building sets, doing costumes. My daughter will be going into 6th grade and she's very excited. She's already started doing some of the costume designing for me. Because I did pick a show. I'm happy to tell you about it if you would like to hear about it. But just to get more kids involved and to really have it be an inclusive program. When I was in college, I did a production of the Vagina Monologues, and the way we did that was a Black Book program. Not many people are familiar with Black Book, but basically you get to take your script on stage. So removing some of those things that would make kids scared to be up on stage, or special education students that may not have the opportunity otherwise. They can take their script on stage, they'll be able to do that, they'll be able to participate. Only doing one production a year starting in the fall so that we have the whole year to work on it, that everybody gets to come in and work on this. And in that way, when we're sending our kids up to the high school level, they're prepared, they've been on stage, they've learned, they know what a proscenium is, they know how to find center stage or their light or whatever it is to go on and do better. And in that end, maybe we'll start to see more Freddie Award wins, because it's one of the big things that our school doesn't have that the other schools do. They are doing this stuff in school. They have choir, they have junior programs. They're starting their kids younger. Our kids don't get to start doing anything with theater until they are in 9th grade. My son graduates this year. When he went into 9th grade, he had no direction. He barely passed that year and ended up doing summer school. As his sophomore year came, we said, you have to do something. And he joined the theater. My son is set to graduate this year with all straight A's. He's looking at colleges. He wants to pursue theater. It completely changed his life. So why aren't we doing that for the little ones?
Agreed.
Will not cost the school any money.
That's the other thing.
The theater department from the high school, the boosters from the high school, will be footing the bill for this middle school program. We will be building the program up, and as the program builds, then we'll be able to build our money as the kids' parents buy tickets.
Right.
So you're not paying for anything.
Not many people know, but the Northern Lehigh Theater was not funded by the school district until 2 years ago. And I know Dr. Link was a huge factor in that, and it is because of that move that allows our board to have the money to do this work and support this program.
Great opportunity for our students.
So again, great description, great supporting, because honestly, stories are powerful, and the story you just shared is very powerful, so thank you.
Can I tell my story? I think my son participated in a play in like 4th or 5th grade. I mean, all they did was walk across the stage, but at least they got up there, so by the time he was a sophomore, junior, he was doing lead roles and stuff like that. But I think it's a fantastic program. And if you could get elementary kids in to just, like I said, just walk across the stage and smile or whatever, that could also be helpful. I don't know if you could do that, but if.
Well, I would love to eventually get to the point where the junior program either was K-8 or there was a separate program for the smaller kids, because as a parent at Peters, I see what the teachers do and I can see exactly how beneficial it is, and that's why James hired me as a para, is because I am a theater person and he knew exactly what I could bring to the table.
So we've reached our 3 minutes. I am going to highly recommend that this also go to Monday night's meeting.
What is the show?
I chose Alice at Wonderland, which is a modern adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. So it has a much more simple set, but with modern clothing and stuff, I was hoping it would keep my overall cost down, but also get kids interested in. And it's big. There's a lot of parts, a lot of room for a big cast.
Great. Sounds good.
I like it.
Okay, so all 3 initial club applications will be on the agenda Monday evening with the full support of administration. And next, I'm going to ask Dr. Rush Wallace just to kind of share a little bit. We're struggling finding a junior high girls soccer coach. So I don't know if you want to give kind of any updates and a potential opportunity for the girls to continue to play.
Yeah, so last year, middle school soccer changed from being co-ed to now having a boys and girls team. Last year we were able to have a boys and girls team. Unfortunately, our junior high girls coach is now bumped up to varsity, and we've been unsuccessful in filling that role. So in the effort to still allow the girls the opportunity to play, they can play co-ed. They will follow a boys schedule. We wouldn't be the only school that does this. Lehigh does it, Jim Thorpe does it, just to name 2 off the top of my head. So my proposal is, though, we do have a boys coach in place. He is open to it being a co-ed team, is taking the money that would be allotted for a junior high girls coach position and either use all of that stipend or a portion of that stipend for an assistant coach with the boys junior high coach then to support them.
How many kiddos does that cover?
So the girls have 14 that are coming consistently. Boys have 7 or 8. So we're looking at
Oh, wow.
20-ish.
Okay. So he actually needs the girls.
He does.
Just making that clear. Sorry.
I would be okay with the hiring of an assistant to help.
Would it be the, go ahead.
And I fully support this, I just kind of want to put that out there, whatever we can do to get opportunities out there. Next year, can we go back to a traditional boys-girls team if we have coach? Okay, good.
Assuming we get the numbers.
Yeah.
So this would be a one-year program, as it stands now?
We
Just to be reevaluated.
We would evaluate it each year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
My intention is for it to be separate.
Separate again, yes, and I agree with that. Good.
But at least you're not turning folks away, so there's.
Right, there's still, like she said, they need the girls have the numbers, so not taking that opportunity away from them, but still giving them the chance to play.
Yeah, we're good with that.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Girls participate in boys sports and boys participate in girls sports.
Do you need an answer on full or half or?
That was gonna be my follow-up question.
I knew it.
So
I'm not asking for additional money.
the follow-up question is, does the committee support taking to the agenda then, including a stipend for an assistant coach, either at half of what the girls' coach was going to be, or at the actual money that was in the budget for the girls' coach?
This is for the junior high, right?
Correct, and it's 3,200.
How much is it?
32.
32, okay. I was just looking that up.
Yep.
And what is and your assistant varsity is getting 3367.
Assistant varsity.
The assistant varsity is getting 3367. So it is $167 less than what the person is doing the JV team or helping with the varsity, so.
And
Do you have a person?
32.
What,
Do you
and
have
then-
an applicant for this, do you have an applicant for the position?
Yes.
Okay.
and I don't think there are any more assistant coaches at the middle school level,
Correct,
correct?
they just be volunteers.
No.
What are your head coaches for the varsity? Is that?
For varsity or
What's the
for the
junior
middle
high?
school, for the
middle
junior
school,
high?
never mind. 3,200 was the head coach.
Yeah, they only get paid 32. Yep.
And the applicant you have is for the assistant.
Well, he's interested in it being, if it's co-ed. He was interested in the boys soccer position, we had already filled it, but he said he still wanted to be a part of it.
Oh,
He's
so
a
he would
teacher,
be
yeah, he's a teacher at Allen, but lives in our district.
So he would be the assistant then? I would be okay with the 3,200, I think. I think that would make sense, kind of.
Whatever you need to do. yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, whatever works.
and you need to get them in.
Yeah, the money's already there, it's not like we're spending any more money that we already
Right.
had.
And it's gonna be a blended, so there might be different things that have to get handled a little differently, so I'd be fine with that amount.
Okay, I think I'm hearing consensus, I'll look it down, okay, so then we'll put it to the agenda as such with those names and those dollar amounts.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, I'm going to close the extracurricular committee meeting.
Now I'll move to adjourn.
I have one quick question. No, I just wanted to ask, sorry, no, this is for the board. If you did not reply to the library about the 90th anniversary, if you want to go on August 12th, please let me know. That's it.
We all done? Everything?
Support amendment, that doesn't count.